What is up, everybody? I am Switters. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are discussing Cold War intel and looking ahead to what might be coming in Gulf War Zombies, because we're going to get a lot of info from the intel in Cold War. So if you were looking forward to this, if you're watching this as a VOD, as some gameplay, there is no gameplay today, unfortunately. So if you click away now, that's totally fine, but just please let me know in the comments below that you clicked away because there was no actual gameplay. First one here, I win. You are here first again, Volatile. Thank you for that, man. Dylan, what's going on? Hope you guys are having a good day. And as I was just saying, we are going to jump into all of the intel. I collected all of this intel. As I was telling you guys yesterday during the stream, this is all from on my Xbox, so if you guys remember, maybe you didn't play it, so maybe you don't remember. And they had a PlayStation only mode, which was called Onslaught. It was kind of their reward for, I don't know, being PlayStation. They had, you know, the deal with Activision where they get like exclusive content. That was their exclusive content. So I didn't play very much. I mean, literally like 99.9% of the time that I played this game was on my Xbox. I played Onslaught literally one time. I wasn't a fan of it. I collected a couple pieces of that intel, but I don't have that intel. I do have literally every other piece of intel that you could get throughout the whole year, as you'll see here. And I, you know, maxed out everything. I did literally every challenge, everything in this game. It's pretty much 100%, except, like I said, for that Onslaught game mode on PlayStation. I just didn't really play it because I didn't find it fun. Anyway, so you can see like this stuff all before this became available, Onslaught mode on Xbox. This was all like 176 out of 176, 138 out of 138. So I'm assuming that there's not too much in that Onslaught intel that's actually necessary. If you guys want, especially now that we've got nothing coming for Modern Warfare 3 Zombies for like another month, so we could go, you know, hop on Onslaught and collect the rest of the Cold War intel if you want. You guys let me know what do you think about that, but totally up to you. Cold War and Modern Warfare 2019 Warzone carried the pandemic. Dude, I mean, we've talked about it a bunch of times now. And by the way, we're going to go from, see, exclusive content. That's all this stuff from Onslaught. So I guess I have one piece out of all of them. So a fair amount of stuff to grab for that. We're going to go from everything from preseason. As you can see, this is all maxed out. I'm assuming, like I said, that there's not really any intel, real info, that's going to give us too many clues on that PlayStation only Onslaught mode. I don't ever remember being out of the loop on any kind of intel story-wise during Cold War. Anything that I was putting out, anything that other streamers, YouTubers were putting out, there was nothing that I was like, what the hell are they talking about? Oh, that must be Eric, man. You didn't need to do that, Eric. I told you didn't need to do that, man. 15 bucks from Eric. Mariners suck. What's up, man? If you guys weren't here yesterday, I'm originally from Boston. I live in LA now. And Eric is up in the Pacific Northwest in Washington. And opening day for baseball was yesterday, and the Red Sox were playing the Mariners in Seattle. So we made a friendly bet. If the Red Sox won, Eric was going to tip me 15 bucks. If the Red Sox lost, I would have to do 15 push-ups here on stream. I do not have to do 15 push-ups because, as you can tell, the Red Sox won. 1-0, baby. Perfect record on the season. That will not stay that way. I don't think the Red Sox are going to be very good this year at all, unfortunately, which really kind of hurts me. But it's okay. It's not okay, but it is what it is. Thank God we don't want to see that. Anyways, me doing the push-ups, you don't want to see that. Yeah, so we're going to start preseason. We're going to literally go through everything. Depending on how long this takes and how much discussion there is back and forth. A lot of the stuff early is just kind of giving you clues for what's coming like in the next map or even stuff that's on this map. So there's some things that are not going to be very discussionable, for lack of a better term, to make up a word completely, I guess. So we could just kind of listen to it or read it or whatever it is, and then just kind of move on to the next one. But there are going to be some things in there that we're going to be like, oh, that might be a big deal. I've already told you guys what I want to have happen at the beginning of Gulf War, what I think would be a cool scene and a cool setup to the first map, which I'm hoping will be a prison map. Not Alcatraz, just in case anybody's like, oh, you mean Bomb of the Dead again? No. The special prison that they get sent to at the end of The Forsaken. So at the end of the stream, I will go over that again, give you what I hope or think, not even necessarily hope, because they can do whatever they want, and it's going to be like, oh, that's amazing. I mean, they're better storytellers, they're better storytellers than I am. So just what I think could happen, what I think might be a cool intro to the new game and a new map. I'm trying to get friggin' chords. Also, I turned the volume literally on the desktop stuff all the way up because there's not going to be any gameplay today, so you guys need to tell me if something's too loud, if it's too quiet. If it's too quiet, really, well, this might be something I can do, but so you guys got to let me know. Which is Black Site something? Yeah, I don't remember what it's called, to be honest with you, Valdo. Yeah, and we probably actually won't get to it in this because I don't think it's a part of the intel. But we're going to jump in, so no more blabbing. This could be a long stream. It might not be very long at all. I honestly don't know. I've not sat here and gone through all the intel ever. I mean, I've covered it all as it was coming out, but I never went through like from start to finish. So anyway, the first piece of intel here, we got an audio log. It's called The Incident from D MWIII. Project End Station scientists Dr. Vogel and Dr. Kurtz initiate cyclotron test run number 12.
I have completed my adjustments, Dr.
Okay. First of all, I can't hear a damn thing. So, we're going to back up. And we're going to go to audio, master volume, all the way up. Dialogue volume, all the way up. Everything else, I think we can leave. I'm going to leave that as Treyarch mix. I think everything else we should be fine leaving it the way it is. So let's try again. Back to preseason. Requiem. And again, The Incident. Let's do it again.
I have completed my adjustments, Dr. Vogel. You may begin recording.
Thank you, I already have. This is Ulrich Vogel, Director of Project End Station. 7th of March, 1944, 10:03 p.m. Commencing cyclotron test run number 12. Dr. Kurtz, please proceed.
All readings are within acceptable parameters. Looks like we are getting the collisions we expected and, some interesting patterns are starting to.
What was that?
I do not know. Gauges are redlining. We have to shut down.
My God! What is happening to the air around the collider?
You then! Back away from that!
Cut the power!
I'm trying! Controls are not responding!
Guard! Retreat! Seal your things in the chamber!
Okay, so that's that. That's just about D MWIII. That's basically when they turned the power on to the particle accelerator, and it basically ripped it open. We got, now we got the Dark Aether stuff, and we have zombies coming through. That's what, in the beginning cutscene when they They seal, they close it all in there. The zombies are down there, and then they send Eddie Zykov in, who eventually becomes the Forsaken. Blah blah blah. You guys know all that stuff. Do you have max prestige in all Zombies games, or just a few? Just a few. Just Cold War actually, and Modern Warfare 3, and I will have it on obviously on Gulf War as well. So let's go to the next one from D Machina, Parallel World. Dr. Vogel records. Now you got to remember, this is all from the preseason, so we haven't even got to season 1 yet as far as this intel is concerned. So almost all of this is going to be story from D Machina, but it's story that's going to be continued into Gulf War. So that's all important, and it's introducing us to characters. We know Vogel. He was kind of the main, the head guy, and that was Angelica's dad. You remember from Valentina from MWIII, Angelica, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. Dr. Vogel records a report on the incident. He suspects the cyclotron has opened a rift across space-time. He notes that the radiation of some sort is spilling through from the other side, as many of his men have been infected by an unexplainable sudden illness. Dr. Vogel describes it as living death zombies.
Ulrich Vogel, director of Project End Station.
By the way, is this loud enough?
March 1944.
I don't think I can make it any louder.
5 days have passed since the accident. I am starting to see it not as a setback, but a breakthrough. Literally. The cyclotron continues to operate, apparently without an external power source. We cannot deactivate it, and it is still manifesting the strange phenomenon I call a rift, and Kurtz calls a wormhole. He attached instruments to the end of a long metal pole and passed it through the rift. The readings confirm that somehow the cyclotron ripped through the fabric of space-time. Something lies on the other side. A parallel world, or perhaps a whole universe. But we dare not approach too closely, lest we suffer the same fate as the men currently held in our medical clinic. Those men remain in a state best described as living death. Kurtz thinks they caught a high dose of some exotic radiation from the other side of the rift. We are checking their blood and tissue samples for traces of rare elements or otherworldly pathogens. I pray, whatever it is not contagious.
Okay, this is all just setting up, this is, again, they were, during World War II, the cyclotron, they opened a rift, it cut into the Dark Aether, basically. They don't know it's the Dark Aether yet, and it's creating zombies, the living death. Again, just setting basically everything up. So we've got documents here, so this is stuff I'm going to have to read to you. This is not audio. Excuse me. End station approval letter. Dear Dr. Vogel, dude, my cold. I cannot shake this, man. Jesus. Dear Dr. Vogel, it's my great pleasure to inform you that after a thorough review by our residential experts, we have decided to proceed with the cyclotron proposal submitted by yourself and Dr. Kurtz. Project End Station is officially funded. That is D Machina. What's up, Big Nap? A site has been chosen in Reich District, Danzig, West Prussia, for construction and operation of the particle accelerator. However, this is all contingent upon a commitment from yourself and Dr. Kurtz to personally oversee daily operations at End Station. This will mean taking a leave of absence from the university, but I believe this endeavor should provide a bit more excitement than the halls of academia. Remember, the Reich will expect dramatic advances in uranium enrichment from you. I know you long to make some contribution to the study of quantum physics, but the atomic weapon program comes first. The Reich District Danzig West Prussia site is in a wooded area called Moraskow, Poland. Labor for construction will be provided by nearby intermittent camps. As with all Uranivarian programs, Project End Station will be kept a state secret. Do not speak of this to any colleagues other than Kurtz. Both of you must report here at the Institute no later than Monday morning. I will arrange for your transport to the Moraskow site so you can oversee the construction of the cyclotron. For the Fatherland, Kurt Diebner, PhD, Director, Uranivarian. Okay, Uranivarian. I need the cyclotron schematics, then need to get me the ray gun. Space-time breach sketch. As you can see, there's a Dark Aether rift on the right-hand side there. That's the actual drawing. On the right, you've got the actual, like, the actual, whether it's a typed letter or written, whatever, this drawing, that's the actual thing. This is, like, the clean part in the middle. You can actually see and read. Excerpt from Space-Time Breach sketch for Reich High Command only. Sketch of possible space-time breach. End station cyclotron. 7 March 1944. Note: breach is persistent but unstable. Will send through instrument probe ASAP. Results forthcoming. DIE blueprint. This is this is the blueprint for the DIE wonder weapon. That's it. Don't really need to go over that, right? I think we're good. De Wexler blueprint. This is what they call the aquarium in the weapon. No, not across from the weapons lab. In the speed cola room is what I used to call it, the computer room. Isotopic impellers extract radiant containments from subject's brain. Initial results: partial success. Further trials needed. Subject 1, remembered own name, called all others Schnitzel. Subject 2, returned to guard post, used it as a latrine. Subject 3, correctly unloaded handgun, then ate the bullets. And again, that's what we trap the two parts of the megaton in, and then fuse it back together, and we get, what's his name? Yuri, or whatever his name. The guy with the family there. This is a cipher. I cannot translate ciphers on demand, so if you can, awesome. Those are all the documents. We're going to go to radio transmission. So again, this will be stuff that we're listening to, so listen up. And I'm scrolling through, by the way, with the text, so if you want to try to read along with it, you can. Probably most of you are watching on your phones and can't see it, so it doesn't matter.
Strike team, Weaver here. I understand this has been a lot to take in. Interdimensional breaches all over the world. An infection transforming people into the undead. Not exactly a great 2 weeks for any of us. Requiem had to react quickly. The same day I was personally requested to run field ops. I was ordered to assemble a short list of operatives. That's you guys. Here's what we know. 2 weeks ago, a KGB Spetsnaz unit known as Omega Group came here and reactivated its particle accelerator. Their actions caused the outbreak zones we're now seeing around the world. This place is ground zero. Why they did it and to what end, that's what we're gonna figure out. We lost 2 teams before learning about the site. Make their sacrifices count. Let's get some answers. Oh, one more thing. Don't be surprised if the other division leads contact you, introduce themselves. They're experts in their field, so show some respect and play nice.
I wish they would let you pause this, but you can't. You either stop it and then play it back from the beginning, or whatever. I just had an idea, though, like thinking of this, listening to this. Where is it? Treasure. Great. 2 weeks for work. Head to act quickly. Same day I was personally requested to run field ops, I was ordered to assemble a short list of operatives. That's you guys. Operators. Well, the thing that we're trying to... that we hate, all as Zombies players, we wish we had a dedicated crew. It's occurring to me now that maybe they think that, like... that we're playing operators, that don't have a ton of personality, they don't really say anything, and so we can kind of put ourselves into the mission. It's not how it works, though, because we're not, you know what I mean, like we can't, our operators do say some things, and doesn't sound like us, you know what I mean? Anyway, this is just a whole introduction. This is Weaver, and this is what's going on. This is the response. This is the good guy response. Yeah, Eddie Richtofen definitely didn't personally recruit Weaver. What's good, brother? Just joining. That's great, man. Thanks, Paper Root. Appreciate you. Welcome aboard. Yeah, so let's go. Again, that's just kind of, this is the setup. That's Weaver. We get to know Weaver a little bit, and you guys, we're the operators. We're the operatives coming in. Unfortunately, we're the faceless, nameless. I mean, they have names technically, but the only one we remember is Raptor 1, right? We don't even play as him. So this is from Dr. Gray, or the introduction of Dr. Gray, I believe.
Strike team, you there? Of course you are. Sorry. I'm a bit new to all this. Hopefully you don't mind the less than formal approach. Should probably introduce myself. My name is Dr. Elizabeth Gray, head of unnatural sciences, and, well, this is about as unnatural a Sunday as I can remember. I mean, normally about now I'd be sitting in my lab in Bristol having a good natter with Pip and Sam, the two McCorks I work with, over a nice cup of tea. Then, just bam, this whole thing happens. Next thing I know, I'm drafted by the bloody government to be their representative in this new organisation, Requiem. I mean, how could I pass that up? Sure, the name sounds a bit ominous, but think of the opportunity. The potential discoveries that await us in this new reality. There's a chance that I could end up changing the world.
So she's, she's young and she's ready to go and, hoorah, change the world. She's, still idealistic, basically, coming into this. So we're just getting an idea of these characters that we're going to be talking to a lot. And I'm really sorry. They had to make way for bundles. Yeah, I mean, I think ironically it made it so that you were less likely to buy bundles than to actually, by making them just generic operators. Again, if we had like a dedicated crew, like think of the stuff from, for Richthofen or Tank or, Nikolai Takeo. If you could buy a bundle that would change their outfits, their skins, their, camos and all that kind of stuff, like, wouldn't you be more likely to buy that than just some... I mean, I couldn't tell you that, like, Park is the only operator I remember the name of in this game. Other than, when they had the Samantha Maxis bundle, I bought that bundle. You know why? Because it's Samantha fucking Maxis. Not some random character that I've never heard of before. Change the world, she said, her skeleton in that hidden room we found when we said. Oh. Oh, is that right? No. Change the world, she said. Skeleton in that hidden room we found. We said. That is confusing. Volatile. I gotta be honest with you. Change the world, she said. Her skeleton in that hidden room we found. We said. Alex Mason was my go-to character. Oh yeah, then there was and then the Woods character. Like you could play as Woods and all that kind of stuff. But those are like guys that we know, like people that we actually know, right? Not the generic characters from Cold War. Anyway, this is getting to know her a little bit. She's kind of on the younger side. She is idealistic and ready to go. So, Dimension of Death. Okay, this is Dr. Gray again.
Yes, I know it seems like the proverbial Dimension of Death has opened right in our back garden, but there's real life to it. And that's including the infected undead. The untapped potential of this discovery, this Ethereum, it could provide us with the tools to grow, evolve even, as a people and a society. Imagine that. No more war. Or at the very least, less war. Put you out of a job though, wouldn't it? No offense, of course.
So they've discovered Ethereum. This is, you got to remember, this stuff is all not like we got this piece and then we got this next piece like exactly in a row. We've got like audio logs and pieces of paper along the way, and then these radio transmissions. These are kind of all spread out. So like, don't take this as like this is the exact next step in the intel that we got from the like this doesn't directly follow the Dr. Gray intel necessarily. You know what I mean? So anyway, she's talking about Ethereum and the potential. Like again, this is still kind of that new like, hey, this could be awesome. It could be a great thing for the world. Could get rid of war and heal the sick and blah blah blah, whatever. Like she said, she wanted to change the world, but ended up finding her skeleton in the MWIII Zombies trailer. We ended up, yeah, definitely Dr. Jensen's mother. I mean, she is for sure. Like, I don't even think that's a question that we can pose anymore. Like, we got the intel in. It's from the audio logs when you do the mercenary strongholds in MWIII. There's a whole story. I've talked about it. Dr. Gray gave her up when she was 3 years old, and blah blah blah. We've been over that a bunch of times. But yes, I don't think there's any question who her dad is. Like, I don't know. Is it? Oh Christ! Why do I keep forgetting his name lately? Kravchenko. Like, I don't know who the poppy though. Yeah, exactly. Like, I still don't think it's necessarily him. I mean, the whole thing looking at the iPad and he's on it, so like, they would be. They are proud. I mean, like, I don't know. Anyway, let's keep going. This is from Dr. Strauss. This is our first meeting of Dr. Strauss. And this is from D Machina as well.
There are precious few things in the world more valuable than knowledge. And one of those is the ability to know how and when to utilize said knowledge. Do you know who said that? I did not think so. Dr. Vogel, the scientist in charge of Project End Station, said it to me some 40 years ago when I was employed at this very facility. I know you have your suspicions about me. I hear what your type says about me in the halls. Mein Gott, is that Dr. Oscar Strauss, former Nazi scientist? They put him in charge of energy research. It is so horrible. To this, I have two things to say. One, I was never a fucking Nazi. I am and always have been a man of science, trying to survive in a nasty, despicable world. Two, I do not care if you have your suspicions. All I care is if you are able to follow your orders.
Okay, so Strauss was like deeply suspicious pretty much throughout the entirety of Cold War. It started here, you know, he was, as again, like think about the first time when you go into the cyclotron, the particle accelerator room. And like Weaver asked Strauss, he's like, hey, any of your old Nazi buddies tell you about this, or you remember this about it, whatever. So he did work with the German. He is German, and he worked with the Germans trying to, he was a scientist doing sciencey shit. But he, as he said, never was a Nazi, and he was just about the science. And he used to work with Vogel, so I had my suspicions about him the whole time. And then turns out, I mean, nothing happened during Cold War. It doesn't mean that he is fully innocent and honest about what he was saying during this game. But during Cold War, nothing he did ever betrayed him being exactly who he said here. I'm just a scientist trying to figure this stuff out. I was not a Nazi, never was, not now, not working with them. So, as far as we know, he's on the legit, up and up, though. Definitely playing Cold War next week. Cold War is fun, man. It was a good game. Could be Dr. Strauss or Ravenov. I seriously doubt it's Strauss being the dad. Might be talking about Samantha. There's rumors her and Gray had a relationship. Sam? They're not rumors. Sam had a crush on her, I think it was. Again, this was in the audio logs. But, I mean, that's fine, but that doesn't mean, Samantha's not the father. Literally, biologically can't happen. So, as far as who the father is, it's not Samantha. Not possible. So, like, that doesn't matter. But yes, I mean, I don't even think it's a rumor. I think it was in those audio logs that flat out she just had a crush on her or something like that. Peek and Strauss teaming up for Gulf War. Oh, Peck and Strauss teaming up for Cold War? Well, Strauss is arrested at the end of this game. And again, I'll talk about, just if you guys are still here by the end of this, remind me. I will give you my scenario for what I think could happen, what I think would be a good idea if they did it. Not the only idea, but what could happen at the beginning of Gulf War, the next game. So let's go with Ethereum here, and we're listening to Strauss again.
This energy source, the Germans called it Exo-Element 1. I call it by its proper name, Ethereum. It has the potential to revolutionize the world in ways we cannot possibly comprehend. I will understand these crystals, and I will learn the how and when to utilize it. I hope, if nothing else, you can appreciate that. All I ask is that if you let me do my job, I will let you do yours. There's no need to be enemies. In fact, one day I hope we can work together, side by side. Perhaps we will even consider each other comrades. Just do not expect a warm hug when you return from your missions.
Again, this is just kind of explaining what's going on with Die Machina. You know, what's this Dark Aether stuff? What's these crystals in there? That's the Ethereum and blah, blah, blah. The Germans apparently called it Exo Element 1. I don't remember much of that going anywhere, that phrase Exo Element 1 throughout the game. So, I think they kind of abandoned that. Like, I don't think it was like a real storyline kind of a thing. Just trying to think of other ways it could go. Because obviously when you think of element stuff in COD Zombies, you think Element 115, right? But I don't remember this Exo Element 1 going kind of anywhere like as a thing. We just called it Ethereum going forward. Anyhow. So was the people sitting at the table in Modern Warfare Zombies trailer. So was the people... Well, we know it's Weaver. I patched everything. It looked exactly like him. There were people saying like there was a picture of Major Carver with a beanie hat on, like a snow kind of cap, kind of a thing, and that one of the skeletons there had that on his head, so that was definitely Carver. I'm not completely sold on that. And then it was like also Gray and Strauss, meaning our 4 people basically that we talked to throughout Cold War, Weaver, Dr. Gray, Dr. Strauss, and Major Carver. I'm not completely sold on all of that. I am sold on it being Weaver for sure. I mean, who the hell else had the eye patch and looked just like that? So, I'm fine with that. But the other ones, I'm not entirely positive. I'm not saying that they're not. That it's not the 3 other people. I'm just not sold on it. Just like I'm not sold on Kravchenko definitely being Ava Jansen's dad, just because he said they are proud of you, while looking at the iPad with a picture of him. There's also a picture of Sam, him. Who was the other guy? Was it Carver? Yeah, it was Carver. No, Major Carver was on it, and Dr. Gray. So, anyway, I'm not sold on that. But anyhow, okay. So this is Major Carver. I think we're just going to get introduced to him.
Strike team, do you read me? Finally, strong signal. I know the circumstances are less than ideal, but allow me to formally introduce myself. I am Major Mackenzie Carver. My friends call me Mac. You will not. And yes, I am that Major Carver. Most likely all the stories you've heard are true. But that is in the past. I'm a firm believer in living in the now and preparing for the future. As you may well know, I head up Requiem's Containment and Security Division. It's a post I personally requested. Make no mistake, we are at war. This is chess, and the Soviets' Omega Group, they just moved their queen into position. They're the ones who opened these portals, and you bet your ass it's to get some sort of tactical advantage over us.
Sorry. Yeah, we're introduced to Carver. He's military man, and that's how he's going about it. Yeah, exactly, Big Net. My friends call me Mac. You will not. Just setting up their relationship. This is professional. We are not friends. I am the military. I am like exactly what you think of when you think of military. That's me. New arms race. This is from Carver again.
This is an entirely new dimension we're dealing with. The technology it could potentially offer is unfathomable. We may have nukes, but what if your enemy uses an interdimensional weapon? Something we can't anticipate and counter. This is the new arms race, and we've already fallen behind. Now look, I got nothing against these eggheads and their scientific pursuits. I'm just here to make sure the DoD gets what's rightfully theirs. That includes Strauss and his Ethereum crystals. If we're to regain the advantage over our enemy, we need to act fast and make sure these science types don't keep anything from us. Don't let me down.
Again, he's just kind of going off of, hey, let scientists do their science shit, but I'm military and I'm going to make sure, we're safe and blah, blah, blah. Yes, Zombie Blood. Major Carver is the black guy. Okay, those are the transmissions. The artifacts, these will be super quick things that we can go through. The remote control, you guys know about this. Like, this is how we build the Wonder Weapon. That's the Wonder Weapon. Aetherscope is how we find the ghosts. Dr. Vogel's diary, that's how we get the password. and that's the decontamination. It's the ball, the gold ball that we shoot out of the tree, and we put it in the little cabinet outside of the computer room. The decontamination agent, a component for De Wexler, made of gold, was thought to have been lost when it was stolen in 1945. However, it was recovered nearly 40 years later when it was found in a tree near the facility. Apparently, the thieves forgot where they'd hidden it. Okay. So that's all of Requiem stuff. Now we have Omega. Omega is the bad guys. So we're going to start with some audio logs from that as well. 8th Guard's first contact. D Machina. The Russian 8th Guard's army arrives at Project End Station facility 1 week after it was abandoned. Privates Alexei Dmitriev and Vadim Kalishnik record their unit's exploration of the facility. Again, so this is, as it says, a week after. So they turned on the cyclotron, the atom smash, the, you know, what the hell do you call it? The big room downstairs where the pack-a-punch is. The cyclotron, for lack of a better word. And it opened up a rift, Dark Aether, does the portals and all that kind of stuff. It was unstable. We're finding all this kind of stuff. And that's when it started turning people into the undead, to zombies. They didn't know what they were yet. And they sealed it up. They closed, you know, shut the doors, all that kind of stuff, closed it down. So this is a week later.
What in hell is this place?
Okay, I am rolling.
Looks abandoned.
Enemy horde? I mean us, Dmitriev. Whatever is down here, Geiger counter does not approve.
Kalashki. Have you ever seen such machinery?
Only in nightmares, Dmitriev.
You there, like a big machine. Surrender. I said surrender. Vadim, get this on camera.
They found zombies. They didn't know what they were, but they found zombies. The volunteer, D Machina, Kazimir Zykov. That's who turns out he's the guy that goes down in there. As we see in the video from the cutscene from D Machina, that they seal, you know, they weld the door shut behind him. He never comes out. He ends up being the Forsaken, Kazimir Zykov. What do I call him, Eddie? I don't know why. Oh, you know why I do? Because there was all, during the game, there was all kinds of rumors of people like, oh, is this person Eddie? Is this person Eddie? Because we had Sam, right? And it was, is this Richtofen? Is this Richtofen? Is this Richtofen? And I made a joke. I just put it out on like Twitter or wherever. And I was just like, Zykov is Eddie. And people were like, why? Why are you saying that? Like, just kidding, man. Come on. There's no, like, it's just the whole, you know, it's like all the conspiracy theories now that flood out of anytime anything happens, it's like conspiracy theory, conspiracy theory, conspiracy theory. Just think of what, you know, what's going on in Baltimore right now with the, you know, the conspiracy theories everywhere. It's like, no, man. I thought that was very obvious. I wasn't being serious that is Richtofen. And people were like taking it. They wanted to know why. Anyway, whatever. So, the volunteer. This is when we're going to see him. This is when he's volunteering to go down into D Machina, and that's when they lock him in behind it. They don't lock him in. They literally weld it shut behind him.
Здравствуйте. My name is Pavel Lazarev. I was sent to contain this mess, and you're going to help me. Comrade, state your name.
Casimir Sikov, Starshina, 1st Guards Tank Army. I am mechanic.
I was told, despite your limited education, you understand German equipment.
Well, I scavenge parts from panzer tanks to keep our T-34s running. How can I be of service, Comrade Lazarev?
There is a machine I need you to deactivate. It is called a cyclotron. It leaks strange radiation. You have seen what it does to men.
Da, Colonel. What if same thing happens to me?
You will not fail, Zykov. You may not survive, but you will not fail. Understood?
Da.
Congratulations, товарищ. You're going to be a hero of the Soviet Union.
So he's basically on a suicide mission, and he seems to know it for the most part. And that was the thing. Something I had forgot about Zykov. I call him Zykov. It's Zykov, I guess, is how to pronounce it. But he was very handy, literally very handy. And so we're going to get into the other audio logs and stuff later. But how he survives in the Dark Aether, although he's kind of BSing, although not really. I think he's genuinely telling his story. But you got to remember, basically, time is like 10 times longer in the Dark Aether than as it is here. So, we'll get to his story later, so I won't even bother really going into it. Will Gulf War have audio logs as well? Probably. I mean, think of pretty much every Treyarch Zombies has had, radio transmissions or, whatever. It's generally hard to hear them. Like if you listen to people's watch videos and stuff, and it's like, how are they getting such clean audio? They literally turn everything else down all the way and just have the dialogue volume all the way up. And then they have one of their friends hold a zombie in a different room, like 3 rooms over, and they stand there listening to radio transmissions, and that's how you get clean audio out of this stuff. And for us, thankfully, we actually have, like, once you discover it, it's now in your intel. So I think that's actually a pretty good way of, I like that anyway, that we can do this. For Mother Russia.
My dearest Raisa, it is me, your Casimir. I am sorry to break my promise. But I will not be coming home to you. I have orders to turn off a German machine. Diesel engines, I understand. Radios I can fix, but this... The things down here try to kill me. Perhaps they already have. But not before I finish my mission. I cut all the power, but still the machine ran. And I swear, sometimes I hear it call my name. I am going to try one more thing. If the dead will let me. I have tools, but not many bullets. That swallows girl who ordered me down here. I do not do this for him. I do this for the world. For Mother Russia. I do this for you, Raisa. My love for you will never die.
So that's basically his final transmission to his girlfriend or wife or whoever. What he thought, he was going to go on a suicide mission. You can hear the zombies in the background. You heard him cock his gun. He doesn't have a lot of bullets left. He's going to try one more thing to shut the thing down. The particle accelerator / cyclotron, even though he cuts power to it, it keeps running because it's running off of Ethereum from the Dark Aether now. And there was something here. What was it? Oh. The things down here have tried to kill me. Perhaps they already have, but not before I finish my mission. I cut all power, but still the machine runs, and I swear sometimes I hear it call my name. Now, I made a shorts video on this. You can check it on my channel if you want to, but when the next time you play Die Maschine, go into the game, when you get into the particle accelerator room, the cyclotron room. Don't turn power on right away. And if you got a friend that you're playing with, have them hold the last zombie out in like have them hold it outside while you just go down into the particle accelerator room. Just go down in there, crank your sound, and listen. And you can hear coming from like the vent in the roof, or in the ceiling rather, you can hear voices speaking. And they're actually speaking backwards. And if you reverse it, well, you can watch my video about that, or you can look it up for yourself somewhere else. But check it out. It's actually pretty gosh darn creepy being down in there listening to those sounds. Hopefully Gulf War will be, I can't see because of that thing over there. be outside the Dark Aether? Well, it's going to have both for sure. I mean, we're going to be in and out of the Dark Aether, I almost guarantee you. I mean, almost guarantee you. It's the Dark Aether story. This is what we're in. You know, before it was the Aether story, this is the Dark Aether story. So I can't imagine that, especially for the Outbreak stuff. We're getting Outbreak again this year, guarantee, and it's going to be basically what we've got this year. Think of like the first season or preseason, whatever, when Treyarch was still in charge of zombies on MWIII. I mean, we're getting more Outbreak. It was successful in Cold War. As much as I find it boring, I think the mode was okay. They just needed to change something about it. I think what they did initially in MWZ was very good. I thought it was fun. I think getting rid of rounds in an Outbreak mode is a great idea, because it's just like one of the biggest problems with Outbreak in Cold War was the progression system. It was like rounds 1, 2, and 3 were super boring because everything's so slow and spread out. And then you move on to the next round, and all of a sudden it's like, oh my god, we went from round like 5 to round 25, you know, like in round-based terms. So the progression was off. It just wasn't, like, it wasn't steady enough. It didn't feel right. So having the tiered kind of like zones 1, 2, and 3 from this year, I think is a much better thing. And having no round, so it doesn't keep going up in difficulty. You can stay in a zone or move back out of it or do whatever. You know, like, I think all that kind of stuff is good. Whatever. We're not going to go too much into that. I've discussed those kinds of things in the past with you. Yeah, you were right. I agree with you. It's definitely them going to be in the Dark Aether. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's going to be solely in the Dark Aether Gulf War zombies. Like, definitely not. But there will be. I mean, think of like Die Maschine. Like, you activate the Dark Aether. So think of it like in Stranger Things. Like, you're in the Upside Down. You're in Hawkins. You could be in the high school or the junior high in Hawkins, you know, Stranger Things. But then there's also in the real world, and then well, not the real world, but think of it that way. And then there's also the Upside Down version of it. So like we have Die Maschine, we also have the Dark Aether version of it. I think there's going to be more of that going forward in Gulf War. I actually kind of hope there is. I think Die Maschine, I know a lot of people, most people probably think MWIII is the better map. I like Die Maschine better. I like the Dark Aether stuff. I like that it's original, that it's not, I know Noct is in there. It's not completely original. But I like that it's not from the campaign or, you know, from multiplayer or anything like that. It's just its own thing. I appreciate that about it. But, okay, let's do the Maxis logs. We've got Cold War Paranoia. Yeah, I think it'd be more focused on the Dark Aether too. Yeah, I mean, it's the Dark Aether story. So, BND agent Samantha Maxis leaves a message for Officer Weaver. What is BND?
Code in. Access granted. Commencing recording.
It's late here in Berlin, and it's cold, so I'm going to make this brief. Everything is so much worse than I thought. Sorry, Weaver. How's your day going? I'm going to be frank. I'm not sure who the hell I can trust at the BND. There's an atmosphere. People are leaving. New people are coming in. And I'm not sure how much choice any of them have in it. Point is, something seems to have everyone spooked and looking over their shoulder. Cold War paranoia. Who would have thought it? All I know for sure is there's a project file called End Station.
Okay. I mean, nothing particular there. We have Samantha being a part, connected to Weaver in some kind of way, and that she is working kind of as a double agent-ish. You know, she's reporting over to Weaver about what's going on at the BND, which stands for, and I remember, it's German. And they're talking about Project End Station. Game Changer. Here we go.
Code in.
So this is her, by the way, sorry. This is her basically using a phone like we see in the trailer leading up to the game, before the game came out. Her going to a phone, and then she types in a code, MAXIS, Maxis. That's how we verified it was for sure Sam in the trailer. So she's calling a number, and then the voice is saying, like, you know, over at the Requiem, put your code in so we know who it is, and then, okay, she types in Maxis, access granted, commencing recording. So now she's leaving a message for Weaver.
Code in. Access granted. Commencing recording.
I'm hearing that something has lit a fire under the KGB's metaphorical ass. Something they found out about N Station. There are, shall we say, extremists within their ranks that are pushing a new agenda. Their department thinks they might have uncovered something that could be a game changer for the Cold War. All I know for certain is that they've allocated a huge amount of resources to fund a ground operation in Poland. What worries me more is I have no idea who around me I can really trust. Some here may already be working with them. They may even be listening in.
I was just looking up what the BND is. It's basically the German CIA. You can think of it like that, or FBI if you want to, but I think it's more CIA because it's more international. And there's no way I can pronounce it. Bundesnachrichtendienst. Yeah, there's no way. So you can look that up if you want to. Sorry if you're German and I absolutely butchered your language. It's not intentional. I just don't speak German, obviously. So let me go over that real quick because I was looking that up. I'm hearing that something has lit a fire under the KGB's metaphorical ass. Something they found out about N Station. So obviously you guys know what the KGB is. Don't have to go into that, right? It's their version. The Russia's version, basically the CIA, if you want to think of it that way. You know, the British have the MI6, CIA, BND, KGB, other initials as well. There are, shall we say, extremists within their ranks that are pushing a new agenda. Their department thinks that they may have uncovered something that could be a game changer for the Cold War. That was basically what we did in the first Outbreak Easter egg, which the rockets with Ethereum on them and terraforming. That's pretty much, we're getting a little advanced peek of that here, all the way back at D-Machina. All I know for certain is that they've allocated a huge amount of resources to fund a ground operation in Poland, Moraskow, where D-Machina is. What worries me is that I have no idea who around me I can really trust. Some here may already be working with them. They may even be listening in. So she's now worried that obviously the BND is compromised. And she doesn't know who's on whose side anymore, pretty much. Okay, VHS tape. Let's go.
Code in. Access granted. Commencing recording.
So, this is the last you'll hear from me. For a while. I'm starting to feel that the walls are closing in. If you get my meaning. 2 of my contacts have already been exposed. I say exposed, but to be more specific, one started singing as soon as they were detained. The other.
Okay, hold on. I just want to... This is why I wish I could pause. Because there's a little bit of a difference between what they're saying and what is written here. So it's like the difference of what went to press when they were putting the graphics together for this, and then when they were in the recording room, Craig Houston, who's the main writer, probably was like, hey, actually, don't say he, say they. But as you can see here, 2 of my contracts have already been exposed. Well, I say exposed, but to be more specific, one started singing as soon as he was detained. The other fell out of a window. She doesn't say he, she says they. Does that really matter? I don't know.
Code in.
Probably not, but...
Access granted.
Whatever.
Commencing recording.
They need a pause button on this.
So, this is the last you'll hear from me. For a while. I'm starting to feel that the walls are closing in. If you get my meaning. 2 of my contacts have already been exposed. I say exposed, but to be more specific, one started singing as soon as they were detained. The other fell out of a window. Before their untimely accident, They sent me a tape.
They.
I think it's what the new department is going after. End station. An associate at the BND, maybe the last one I can trust, will ensure its delivery to you. Right now, I have no choice but to move and burn everything in my wake. Forgive my breaches of protocol, Weaver, but these times are unprecedented.
Okay, so this is, again, the title of this particular tape is called the VHS tape. Now, if you remember in the trailer, when she types in Maxis and she's speaking to Weaver, she's like, just play the tape, Weaver. And then he puts it in and he watches it, and it's the whole thing of Zykov going down into End Station. It ends with that, but it's like them going, it's the first approach when they go down in there. The tape we heard earlier is like, hey, you there, you know, whatever, the big guy, you're, you know, don't move, you're under arrest, or whatever the hell he says. But it's actually them discovering zombies there. So that's the VHS tape that she's talking about. And then she sends that up to Weaver, gives him the phone call, and then she's apparently going to disappear because she doesn't know who she can trust anymore. So these are the Dark Aether intel. That was all the... Wait, no. Okay, sorry. I almost skipped all this stuff. So let's go to the Maxis documents. KGB videotape note. Die Machina, the note attached to the videotape Agent Maxis received from her recently deceased KGB contact. Dieter's note. A note from... wait a second. Okay, so Alright, they didn't put it in. So this is going back, the KGB videotape note. This is the guy that got himself thrown out of a window, her contact. To those who need to know, I believe my recent actions have compromised my position. I expect the reprisals from my KGB colleagues to be swift and severe. I take some comfort knowing that securing the enclosed package means my fate will not be for nothing. The West has to know about End Station before it's too late. Nothing else matters. Dieter's note from End Station, a note from Agent Maxis' BND colleague, Dieter, so this is a German guy, her colleague at BND. Sam, I am worried and I don't know who else to turn to. The incoming case officer has instructed me and everyone else at the department to turn over the contact lists for all foreign nationals who acted as BND agents at any time over the last 5 years. Agents in place I can understand, but why would they need to ID contacts for inactive operations? Why would they need to know whose former agents were relocated after... Sorry, this is the handwriting. Relocated after defection. It doesn't make sense. What are they trying to dredge up? I don't know. I'm sorry, Sam. I know you've been the... what? Bagman recently? I guess... Bagman recently, I just had to give you a heads up from Dieter. A message for Weaver. Die Machina, a letter from Agent Maxis to Officer Weaver. She's made contact with someone inside Omega Group and believes they can be turned. I'm pretty sure this is Ravenov. I don't remember how much you guys remember, but we were getting like some pictures, like little clues and stuff along the way that Treyarch would drop for us. And one of them was a picture, well, a bunch of pictures, and there was like some like stuff written on it, like it would be 2M, say whatever about Firebase Z from R or something like that. Anyhow, if we, oh, there we go. We can just read it like that. I don't have to read the actual writing, so I can do this. Is way easier to read. W, I'm assuming Weaver. Yeah, it's from Maxis to Weaver. I know why you did what you did, but I thought I made it clear when we last spoke. I have to stay in the field. It doesn't matter how many people you send to bring me in, they won't succeed. I've gotten pretty damn good at looking over my shoulder these past few months. Besides, I've already left Germany. I have a new contact within Omega Group itself. He's scared. I think he can be turned. M. P.S. Maxis, again. P.S. I'm sorry for hurting your men, but broken noses will heal. So, Weaver is sending people to try to get her, not in a negative way, but like to help her, to pull her out, because Weaver's worried about her because of all the stuff that's going on. Again, she doesn't know who of her colleagues she can trust anymore. She's got a guy in the KGB. I mean, we know now it's Ravenov, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, so radio transmissions. Agent Maxis. Die Machina, Agent Maxis contacts the strike team and introduces herself.
Hey. You know me, don't you? Sure you do. Hopefully. You're part of Weaver's strike team, right? My name's Maxis. I'm a friend. Sorry to start off with some bad news, but friends need to be honest with each other, so... I have reason to believe my communication channels with Weaver are compromised. I would say we do not know who is listening, but even an idiot could probably work it out. Russians. So, I will continue to make these recordings in the hope that they may find their way to you without interference. P.S. Good luck.
And again, you got to remember these are not like all exactly in the order that they came out. Like, so we would have gotten a piece from Requiem, we've gotten a piece from Omega and Maxis and Dark Aether, and then like another piece from Requiem and Omega, or like two pieces from Maxis, and then one more from Dark Aether, and then it goes like that. It's not; these are not all directly in a line of how they actually came out. So if things are sounding like she's now just introducing herself, it's going back and forth. Scorpions from Frogs. D Machina, believing the BND has been compromised by Omega Group Agent Max, has gone to ground as she continues her investigation.
I'm going to assume you can hear me, because the alternative is far too depressing to think about. I'm in the field, but not an actual field. That would be silly. It's a churchyard in Romania. Don't worry, there are no vampires. Even if there were, I have garlic and weapons. To be perfectly clear with you, I have reason to believe the BND have been compromised. So, I have gone what some would term a little bit rogue. It pretty much means I'm operating without authorization or oversight. But since I've spent the last 7 years working alongside spies from both East and West, you can hardly blame me. Don't worry. I know my scorpions from my frogs. This experiment, end station. If I'm right, it may really be the turning point the Russians believe it to be. We have to stop them.
Pretty self-explanatory. You guys know the whole scorpion and frog thing, I'm sure, right? The scorpion needs to ride across the river. The frog is like, hey, but don't sting me, man, because, that's not cool. He's like, dude, I just totally need a ride. You can give me the ride, that'd be great. The frog's like, you promise you're not going to do that? You're not going to sting me? When if I give you a ride? Scorpion's like, totally, man, not going to do that. Why would I do that? You're going to give me a ride. That's awesome. Thanks so much. So the frog gives the scorpion a ride across the river, and as soon as he gets to the other side, the bank on the other side, and the scorpion is going to be safe, the scorpion stings the frog. The frog's like, dude, what the fuck? And he's like, I'm a scorpion. What do you expect? Sam saying she knows which is which. She's in hiding, so she knows who's an enemy, who's not, who's trying to play her, whatever. Okay. Why you're here?
I was the one. I'm the reason you're here. I gave Weaver the Russian intel about the site in Poland, and told him how much the Russians were interested in it. Right now I'm operating on the theory that they knew that there was something big here, an unnatural power that they could perhaps harness and turn upon their enemies. Something no nation could be prepared for. Wait, has Weaver even told you about the extent of the outbreak zones?
Outbreak? Okay. Dark Aether stuff now.
Is anyone out there? Can anyone hear me? I do not know how long I have been here. There are no days to count. Only an endless twilight. Like a dream that keeps shifting whenever I try to focus on it. There are some strangely beautiful sights here. Great glowing gems, luminous creatures that float on the mist. Beauty means little when you're always being hunted. I should never have gone near that shimmering light. I should never have touched it. I thought it was a sign from God. There is no God here. There is no God.
So these are the tapes that you would get from doing like intel. You know, you go to the intel stations and you do the challenges or whatever. Part of some of the stuff you would get is intel. These are those recordings. So this is basically just giving you an idea of what it's like in the Dark Aether. There's various people here. That was Johans. This is Mariska. Dead men wander this land, feasting on the living, if you can call it living.
In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Lord, it is me, Mariska. I do not know if my words reach you anymore. I do not know if you care at all about the damned. For that is surely what I am. Damned. And I just want to know. Why, Lord? What did I do to end up here? It is not the hell I expected. No lake of fire. Only a cold, perpetual half-night that somehow seems even worse. Dead men wander this land, feasting on the living. If you can call it living. And I fear they may be. Lord, they are coming. I beg you, protect me. Deliver me from this place. I should not be here. I should not.
A lot of God in the first two audio logs from the Dark Aether. They're called Lost Souls. I mean, it makes sense, right? I've met quite a few others who got trapped here. Every time the question comes up, are we in hell or not? More God. This is David.
Okay. Think it through. Reason it out. I've met quite a few others who got trapped here lately. And every single time, the question comes up. Are we in hell or not? I mean, sure, this has to be hell, right? There's dead people, the demons. I feel as far from God as you can get. I even thought I saw ghosts here. But now I'm thinking maybe they're just folks back home, and somehow I'm seeing them through the veil that separates our worlds. Which brings me to the thought I just can't get out of my mind. What if there is no hell? What if this place is just a place? What if people came here before and got out? And that's how we got the whole idea of hell in the first place. I mean, that should give me some hope, right? It means you can escape. And maybe hope is part of the punishment. Maybe hope is the ultimate cruelty.
I think they've seen Shawshank. Okay. I don't know what's going on with that. Why, like, we just got disconnected? I have no idea. It's fine, it doesn't matter, but it's weird. Nope. Okay. Approach. It is coming. I'm gonna go grab a water real quick, guys. it is kind of an interesting idea that, you know, people were here before and they actually made it out, and that's like, it felt like hell, or what they would imagine hell would be, and that's where the concept of hell came from. Is actually the Dark Aether. Gives you a great idea, you know, of what it's like in there, if people thought of it as hell. Oh, these are just sounds of what is in the Dark Aether. I hope you guys were in here. Oh dear. Lost Souls, Alice. This place is a hodgepodge of creatures and artifacts, a collision of cultures and eras. I've seen ancient storybook creatures and mechanical monsters.
I hope someone out there can hear this. I'm not quite certain this device even works. You see, I'm an historian. I was touring ancient sites in Peru when it all went dark. Suddenly, I'm in this jigsaw landscape. This hodgepodge of creatures and artifacts, like a collision of cultures and eras. I've seen medieval structures alongside 21st century buildings. I've seen ancient storybook creatures and mechanical monsters straight from a science fiction novel. And the thought I cannot seem to shake now is that the universe has a dumping ground for things that go bump in the night. Others I've encountered assume this is hell, but it's worse. It's the dustbin of history. It's the rubbish dump of time. When the universe is through with you, this is your final stop.
So that's kind of an interesting idea as well, by the way. Like, if you think of it as like the Dark Aether is kind of outside of time. You know, the whole time is a flat circle thing. So if you think of it as a record player spinning like a disc, you know, like I'm showing you like the face of the record, and you could, like, wherever you put the needle down, you know, you could go from song 1 to I don't know, however many songs are on, you know, one side of an album. Song, you know, from here to here to here to here. Whenever you want to put the needle down, you can just drop in and out wherever you want. And if the rifts going into the Dark Aether are kind of like that, and that's why you've got 21st century and ancient things, you know, side by side. Kind of interesting kind of concept. Barbara.
Confession time. This one's gonna sound a little nutsoid, but stay with me. Please, stay with me. So, I've noticed that ever since I landed in this place, well, I've noticed some changes in me physically, and hey, I am not crazy. Do not call me crazy. But mentally, too. It's bad enough when my skin started to wither. I look part alligator. My nails are growing like crazy, and my teeth. What worries me more is how calm I am about it. I mean, at first I panicked, but the more I change, the less I mind. Plus, I am not as afraid of things I run into. Don't judge me. Don't you fucking judge me. I've eaten 1 or 2 of them. I gotta eat something. Anyway, I don't know if it's the fog or those glowy crystal things, but this place changes you. Not all at once, but I don't think I could go back now, even if I knew how.
You know what's funny is I had forgotten about this tape, but this tape set me off and a lot of people off, I think, at the time, thinking, oh my god, the implications of this, what it could be, like the changing, like you can't be sure. I mean, it's changing your mind, it's changing you physically, whatever. Like the stuff that they could do, like coming up with it, like it didn't really end up being that way. It was a bit of a setup for Zykov. You know, as a normal guy that walks in, and now he ends up turning out to be the Forsaken. But like the other stuff they could have done with that would have been kind of wild too. Like, anyway, it doesn't really matter. So blah, 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 blah. Machina, content unknown, no available translation, possibly a system error from the computer. Okay. More of that. Content unknown, no available translation. The symbol arrangement seemed almost intentional. It might not be a system error, but a scrambled message. Again, this is like cipher stuff, and I don't know. I don't know how to do ciphers. And I certainly don't know how to do them, like, right offhand. Day 13,773. Keyboard finally functional. Screen still hit or miss. Must retest internal components. Make sure nothing is fried. Still not sure if this thing is transmitting. At least I graduated from pen and paper, which are harder and harder to come by. We'll continue transmission attempts. I have plenty to broadcast. My journal of survival. I can only hope someone is listening. I think this is Zykov, if I remember rightly, leaving this. But you see, like, you know, day 95, day 13,700. And remember, he was a very handy guy with mechanical stuff. Day 95. Trying to keep track of how long I've been here. Strange fractured land. Joe, what's up, man? Food and water not easy to find, but have enough for now. Ammunition more of a concern. Distress call, best hope for rescue. We'll start gathering electronics. Saw some while looking for food. No idea if I can build transmitter, but must try. Day 175. There are others here, trapped like me. I avoid them. No time for their madness or sorrow. They usually get picked off before long anyway. We're low on the food chain here. Creatures prowl this place, so I avoid them too. They can be killed, but gunshots attract more, so discretion better part of valor. Still have food stockpiled, but can't last forever. Eventually I'll be forced to hunt. Nothing looks remotely edible yet. And again, going back to what that lady just said, you know, about she's changing and then she's actually eaten a couple of these things in there. But don't fucking judge her about it. I'm good, man. Day 213. Hard day, lucky to be alive. Observed group today, sheltered in warehouse structure. They were arguing, didn't notice approaching pack of plague dogs. I did something stupid. I ran to help. Didn't know these people, didn't want to, but I couldn't turn away. Shot 4 dogs before the people grabbed their weapons. Warned them to exit warehouse. The dogs were inside before they started shooting. Pulled one out. Gas claimed the rest. Then the one I rescued ran back inside. Not everyone can be saved. Day 1646. Saw something new today. Something big, tall as a building. Walking through fog. Difficult to see details. You guys know who it is, right? Or no? Kept my distance as it passed. This was kind of a clue, like, hey, around 40s, and I don't think it's around 42 specifically, but you have to be in the 40s, and you can see him walking past when you go into the Dark Aether from the swamp area where Quick Revive is on D Machina. Oh my god, this is really bugging me. Kept my distance as it passed. I heard talk from others that giants roam this land, but dismissed it as madness. Heard one call them elder gods. Thought I cataloged all creatures here in their pecking order. I was wrong. Day 937. Gathered lots of electronics. No success constructing transmitters. Some gear seems very old. Other components unlike any I have seen. Wish I could find instruction manual. Also finding shimmering weak spots where this world seems to overlap with home. Attempted to pass through but could not. Still caught a glimpse of what looked like Southeast Asia. Firebasey. So close, yet out of reach. Must keep trying. Day 1108. Attempts to pass through the weak spots, yielding limited results. Managed to lengthen glimpses of home into brief visits. Location is different every time. A jungle, a village, a glacier. I'm trying to think back. Were we supposed to go to some kind of Arctic map? Because jungle and village, I mean, that's, you know, Firebase, but a glacier? I don't know. Anyway, I wander unseen like a ghost, 10 or 15 seconds, then pulled back here. If I could only get someone to see me, if I could only ask for help. Day 6121. New devices turning up. Machines filled with beverages. Perks. At first, just trusted them. Seemed like a trap. Waited for others to consume what they had to offer. Results? Beverages not only safe to consume, but have profound effects, useful for combat. Machines even play music while dispensing. Perk jingles. Not sure if someone is trying to help or just messing with my mind. Day 2873. Latest visit home lasted close to 30 seconds. The world changed while I was gone. Was in military base. I I think this is all fire-based they're talking about. Watch soldier communicate on equipment like electronics I gathered over here. Saw how it's meant to operate. Returning to transmitter project. Attempts to consume local vegetation yield poor results, but I am subsisting on creatures now that would otherwise try to eat me. Strange satisfaction in that. Day 3289. The longer I am here, the fewer creatures pursue me. Still see them take down newcomers, but they tend to ignore. Unfortunately, more powerful creatures have taken notice. Not sure why. Do they see me as a threat? I try to avoid them. Anyone would. There are things here worse than any nightmare. Okay. Artifacts. This is just stuff that we, you know, as we're going through, we do the Easter egg, that was stuff that we got. I'll read them real quick. Mutated fungus altered by the megaton's blast. The chemical nature of the fungus has been transformed, releasing a substance that most closely resembles liquid nitrogen. Plaguehound gas. The odor of plaguehound gas is as lethal as it is foul, causing lightheadedness before melting a person's skin and evaporating their blood. A horrible way to die. Dark Aether crystal. An elemental mineral from the Dark Aether. Project End Station scientists used this particular sample as part of a locking mechanism. Further study required. Dark Aether wrench crafted from the energy of the Dark Aether. There is far more to this wrench than meets the eye, particularly good for waking the dead. Okay. Alright, that's pre-season. All pre-season stuff. So, should we hop into Season 1? And there's definitely nowhere we're going to get through all 6 seasons, I don't think, in one stream. Which is unfortunate because I don't think that many people are interested in this particularly. But we're going to go through it, so I don't care. And it's the weekend coming up, so maybe we'll, you know, be kind of casual hangout kind of a stream. Shit, I could order a pizza and we'll sit here and eat and chat. Well, it'd be like a picnic with you guys. I said that, by the way, because I don't know if you can hear, but my stomach is rumbling, dude. I'm hungry. Okay, more audio logs. This is from Season 1 now. Again, pre-season was when the game first came out in November, whatever it was that year, November 10th-ish. I don't know, I'm learning. Domino. I mean, something, dude. I don't even care. I wish the taco place delivered. So this is Season 1 started in like December, early December of whatever year this was. Was this 2020? I think, right? That this came out? Yeah. Because it's been 4 years. It will have been 4 years when this comes out. So, yeah, it was like December of 2020. So now we're into Season 1. So we're still on D Machina. Like, we're not into Firebase Z yet. Firebase Z was supposed to come out later. Actually came out a little bit early, like in mid-January, if I remember correctly. But I don't remember exactly on that. I think, actually, I'm going to grab a little kind of a protein bar thing as well. Sorry. Because if I don't eat something, I'm just going to be thinking about how hungry I am the whole time. And I don't want to do that. And you guys don't want me to do that either. 2020 feels like yesterday. Time goes fast. Yeah. I was just talking to you guys about this like yesterday or the day before. It's like some things, when you look at what was going on in the world, it feels like like not very long ago at all. And then when you put it into Call of Duty terms, like that was when this game was out, when Black Ops 4 was out. Like, what? Like, well, that feels like it was 10 years ago. How was that only like, you know, 6 years ago, whatever it is, but I don't know. Anyway, let's jump in.
Vogel, 16th of March, 1944. We have finally isolated an unknown element in the men who were transformed by the cyclotron accident. And even at this early stage, it is clearly a remarkable substance. For now, we have classified it as Exo-Element 1. Kurtz suggested Vogelium. Such an ass kisser. The current theory is that at sufficient concentrations, Exo-Element 1 triggers the horrific transformations experienced by the men closest to the cyclotron rift. I am currently designing a chamber to withdraw Exo-Element 1 from the occupant. My hope is to somehow purify the men, but reverse their necrotic condition. If we can learn to control the necrotization process, I believe it could be weaponized. Imagine an army of unkillable soldiers. Even at this late point in the war, I may have found the key to saving the Reich.
Ah! Germans, man, are so crazy. By the way, hello, Germany. My most popular regions are U.S., Canada, Australia, and I think it's Germany is like fourth. So, Guten Tag. Sorry. That's all pretty self-explanatory, right? Exo Element 1, Ethereum. We're all good there, right?
Dr. Kurtz, you have memorized the new orders, yes? Did you burn after reading?
Ja, Vogel. And I thought security was tight before the accident. Do you think we can actually accomplish what the Reichstag is asking for?
I would not have suggested it if I did not think it achievable. But let us guard against overconfidence. If we do not deliver, they will find someone who can. And I am not about to give up control of this discovery. All we need is to send through a few volunteers to measure the specific relativistic differential.
Volunteers? Would you take on such a task?
Mind your words, Dr. Kurtz. I would hate for someone to question your commitment.
You are recording this.
What we do now will ensure the Chancellor's dream of a 1,000-year Reich. There must be a record.
More kookiness from Vogel, like the power mad kind of thing going already. And Kurtz is like, are you crazy? Volunteers? Like, we're going to volunteer some people. He doesn't want to be like, you know, hey, found out. Living in Australia triggers my arachnophobia so much. I bet it would, man. The snakes there, too. Like, ugh. Okay, so we do get some Firebase Z stuff. Okay. So, when it's titled like that at the top, so you see it says Ravenov Firebase Z. Firebase Z, I believe that's where you got this intel from. So, Season 1 went through, probably would have gone through, kind of like this year. So what, like, to the beginning of February, something like that? It's about 8 weeks-ish. So beginning of December to beginning of February. Makes sense. Because like I said, this got pushed up, Firebase Z got pushed up to beginning or mid-January. I don't remember. It was a weird, well, we're not going to go into that.
Are you still angry, Weaver?
I'm rarely angry, Sam. You should know that.
No. I know that you're just very good at hiding it. I have news.
Tell me what's going on, and please, Sam, don't lie. That would make me angry.
I have a contact with an Omega group. He wants to meet. I've seen the intel he has firsthand. He's the real deal.
Okay.
There's an Omega operation underway at a facility about halfway between MWIII City and Kaisan. Headed up by one of their top scientists, Dr. William Peck. You heard that name before?
I know the name all too well. He may have a brilliant intellect, but he's an arrogant narcissist who cares only for stoking his own ego. Above all else, he's a fucking traitor to this country.
I know. But this Peck is also about to help the Soviets secure the breakthrough they need to control access to the other dimension.
Okay, let's assume your intel is solid, and this is all true. You have to let Requiem take it from here. Where are you now?
This could be our only chance to catch up with the Soviets. I'm going to meet with my contact.
Sam, I don't want you to get yourself hurt.
Please don't be angry, Weaver.
Damn it, Sam.
So this sets up Peck and Firebase Z, obviously. It also sets up Sam going there alone. And then we know, of course, what happens to Sam in Firebase Z. They catch her, and Peck sends her to the Dark Aether as an experiment just to see basically how long she'll last, if she can last. And then, you know, we know what happened from there, but we'll probably have more intel about it later, so I'm not going to waste your time. Let's just jump in. They took her. And also set up Ravenel as well, of course. But now we have a name.
Is this a secure line?
Who is this?
Is this a secure line?
As secure as they can be.
You're wrong. They're listening. They always are. That's why Maxis is where she is now.
You're the contact she told me about. Where is Samantha now?
When I arrived at the meeting, they were already there. Omega. They took her.
Did they hurt her?
They will keep her alive. At least, for now. They will have taken her to their facility. The one where you must go. Where you must send your people.
Who are you to tell me what I should do?
I am Sergei Ravenov. I know you need Peck's research. I know you need to close the gap. I know you know how quickly you are falling behind. Their Ethereum research is way beyond yours. Way beyond anything you could imagine. Maxis would want you to stop them weaponizing it further. Even if it meant she sacrifices herself for the greater good.
If you're lying to me, if you betrayed her, if any harm comes to her, I will kill you myself.
It will not come to that. I have already told you, Omega are ahead of you. Every step of the way.
Pretty self-explanatory. Don't need to go over any of that, really. Meeting of the minds. Here we have Weaver and Strauss and Carver and Gray. So they're all talking.
Thank you all for coming. I can see from your faces you look worried.
Concerned, not worried. There's a difference.
We believe we have identified the purpose behind Outpost 25, Omega's secret base in Vietnam.
And what is its purpose?
My contacts believe they have developed the technology to enter into the Dark Aether at will.
How marvelous! No, it's not fucking marvelous. It's another indication that we are losing this war.
Intel suggests they have successfully harnessed the energy of the crystals for purposes not yet known.
We have to send the team in. This is a chance to... Why are you raising your eyebrows like that?
I think the Major is reminding you, and not very subtly, that this is a military operation. We are merely advisors.
Well, am I wrong? We are going in, right?
Dr. Gray is correct. We need to send a team to secure their research. But we also have to extract a prisoner.
Your Russian contact? Surely he's burned. Or maybe even playing us for fools. This has got wrong written all over it.
No. The Russian contact is not a priority. I'm talking about someone else. Agent Samantha Maxis.
Ah, yes. The mysterious Miss Maxis. I thought she was more than capable of taking care of herself.
She is. But there's another player in the mix. One who may go out of his way to bring her harm. William Peck.
Oh, that's not good. Peck is a nasty piece of work.
It's just more set up, the stuff about Peck, and the crew, you know, is learning about Maxis and all that kind of stuff as well. I'm sorry, but last time I saw Weaver trying to kill someone, a child died in the act. Yeah. We're still not entirely positive of how all that went down. I mean, I guess we kind of are a little bit, but... Dr. Vogel, entry 203. So we're into the documents now, so unfortunately you have to listen to me read. Entry 203, 9 March 1944. Dr. Ulrich Vogel. The last few days have been a blur, but I must record these events regardless of how preposterous they will seem. We activated the cyclotron at 10:03 p.m. 2 nights ago. I knew immediately Dr. Kurtz's modifications had gone too far. There was a sound like a high-pitched turbine crossed a human scream. Then it looked as if the air itself ripped open and the radiation alarms went off. I immediately tried to cut the cyclotron's power, but the machine continued humming along. Whatever energies were released, they had profound effect on the men standing within 10 feet of the breach. They fell where they stood, only to rise again, moaning and screaming, their flesh necrotized. As they attacked the rest of the staff, I ordered the cyclotron chamber sealed. We have since captured our undead personnel and placed them under observation, but I have no idea why any of them are still conscious, since not one has a pulse or any ordinary life signs. While I helped the medical staff try to find a way to reverse these men's condition, Dr. Kurtz has been studying the strange tear that manifested on the cyclotron. He posits that's why, like, when you're looking at the cyclotron, you see that like part of it ripped open, and you can see the purple Ethereum stuff kind of working behind it. I think that's exactly what he's talking about right there. It was literally what we can see on Die Maschine. He posits that it's actually a hole in space-time and that another world can be glimpsed through it. Furthermore, there seems to be a strange relativistic discrepancy between us and this other dimension, for lack of a better term. We immediately reported all of this to our superiors at Renoviren. Rather than a reprimand, Berlin... That's not me doing that with the page. That's like stick drift. Popping that thing back up like that. Sorry. Rather than a reprimand, Berlin responded with great interest, encouraging us to study further the space-time rift. This is now our top priority. Atomic weapons research is on the back burner. The thought that we have access to a dimension where time passes at a different rate presents us with a remarkable tactical opportunity. The Fuhrer himself understands the implications. He has taken a personal interest in Project End Station, and that is one man I dare not disappoint. Outbreak Zones timelines. Timeline of dimensional breaches. Per request from Director of Central Intelligence, Office of Requiem has composed the listing of known dimensional breaches, aka outbreak zones, since the initial incident in the Muraskow Nature Preserve. March 7, 1944, German scientists at the Project End Station facility near Poznan, Poland, used their experimental particle accelerator to punch a hole in the dimensional membrane, unleashing exotic energies and creatures from the dimension we now call the Dark Aether. Breach is contained but remains open until elements of the Red Army seal it on February 10, 1945. Records of the incident suppressed until 1983. November 1, 1983. KGB Spetsnaz Omega Group arrive at End Station site and restart the particle accelerator, exacerbating the original dimensional breach. This time the damage is global. New outbreak zones immediately begin to appear around the world, including sites in rural Venezuela, Namibia, Vietnam, and the largest known breach in the Ural Mountains of Russia. Omega is forced to withdraw from End Station without repairing the dimensional damage. Okay, so this is actually kind of important stuff. I mean, this is more like Cold War stuff rather than necessarily going forward to Gulf War. But in order to understand the future, you have to understand the past. So you see, in 1944, during World War II, the stuff that happened in Poland with Die Maschine, basically, it was localized. That was the only kind of problem. That's where things were. That's where the dead, the undead, the zombies started appearing, and everything was kind of sealed in there and contained. When they went back in 1983 and reactivated the particle accelerator, that's when we got a global kind of problem. And as they were saying, like we're starting getting these spots open up in the Ural Mountains, Vietnam, Namibia, which we never went to, Venezuela, which we never went to, other places. So there could be, that could actually be, speaking of like going ahead to the future of Gulf War, potentially where we could be going, where new maps could be. We could have a Namibian map, a Venezuelan map. Are there any known pyramids, like Mayan pyramids in Venezuela? I don't know, forgive my lack of knowledge on this. I know in Mexico they have the pyramids and stuff. It's not just Egypt, by the way, with pyramids, and just in case you didn't know. But I don't know about if it goes... if there are any in Venezuela or anything like that. Just curious. And Namibia, I definitely don't know much about either. Although it's not like we, you know, like specifically it has to be. I'm just thinking one of the things that's kind of been teased forever, or we've always kind of thought would be coming, was like a pyramid map. And I put that a poll out on my community page of my channel on YouTube there, asking you guys which would you rather see most, like a shopping mall map, a pyramid map, Eiffel Tower / Paris map, or a haunted house map. And you guys picked shopping mall, which I think is a great location for, would be a great location for a map. But I figured pyramid would run away with it because it's something we've talked about for a long time in the Call of Duty community. That's why I'm asking about, like, are there any pyramids down in Venezuela? Again, I know in Mexico there are, but I don't know how far down they go. Anyhow, November 5, 1983, SIGINT indicates Omega Group respawns to an outbreak zone near Baku, Azerbaijan. November 13th, 1983. Requiem strike team arrives at end station and succeeds in destroying the facility, finally closing the original breach, but the dimensional membrane separating us from the Dark Aether remains fragile and outbreaks continue to appear. That is us beating the D Machine Easter egg, basically right there. November 13th, Requiem strike team arrives. November 22, 1983, outbreak zone appears within NATO FOB near Hanover, West Germany. December 8, 1984, so that's like a full year later. Satellite Photint reveals Omega Group construction activity near the Vietnam outbreak zone. We know what that is. Firebase Z. January 11, 1984. See, this is... I think they did this wrong. I think that's supposed to be December 8, 1983. Because then we go to January 1980. So December 84 to January of 84. That's going back in, like, it doesn't make sense. I think that's a typo there. January 11, 1984. Outbreak zone appears at a Menendez cartel cocaine processing site in rural Nicaragua. All places we could be going. Like, they've given us all these locations, places that we didn't go during this game. So this is like stuff that we could do. And one of the multiplayer maps, you guys remember, I don't know if you played multiplayer in Cold War, I think it was called Cartel, right? They had the little field out in front, little hangar on the right, like a little warehouse kind of a thing. There was like a guard tower overlooking, kind of in the middle area. It wasn't a bad map, wasn't a great map. It used to be like thick bushes that you could like get lost in completely at the beginning of the game, and they ended up thinning them out big time because people were complaining about it. Although I didn't really ever have a problem with it. It was a beta map, multiplayer map even. I don't know if you guys remember that one, but I think that's what they're talking about there. January 18, 1984, outbreak zone appears at Shan State Irregulars Base in Laos. SIGINT indicates subsequent Omega Group containment operation. January 19, 1984, outbreak zone appears in Miami's South Beach district. We had a Miami multiplayer map. So far, all of the above have been successfully cordoned off and their existence kept secret from the outside world. Requiem continually monitors communications and satellite Photint for signs of new dimensional breaches. I'm gonna guess that all these other sites we probably had maps in as well, though I don't remember exactly. But some of them, for sure, definitely do. Requiem formation memo. Why are these got to be so long and make me do so much reading? I apologize. Memorandum for the President from William J. Casey. Subject: formation of CIA Office of Requiem. Following up on our emergency briefing regarding the recent spate of so-called outbreak zones around the world, we believe we've come up with a response that will satisfy our NATO allies' queries and ensure they have a seat at the table. My staff at Langley, with the help from DoD, have created the CIA Office of Requiem specifically to contain and suppress this new threat. Initial attempts to quarantine affected areas and prevent a global panic still amount to stopgap measures. Our new rapid response unit is a long-term solution to the problem. Official directives will be issued and appropriate paperwork filed, but we're moving as fast as possible right now, and I want to get you up to speed on where things stand at present. 1. Purpose. Office of Requiem will deploy clandestine strike teams to cordon off outbreak zones, prevent them from spreading, and gain vital intel on the nature of the enemy. We will also provide cover stories to local media designed to keep trespassers out without attracting unwanted scrutiny. We already have a PR operation handling the media side. My focus right now is the people at the point of contact. Strike teams, command, and support. 2. Command structure. I've tapped Associate Deputy Director, redacted, from Directorate of Science and Technology to serve as Director of Requiem. That's Eddie, by the way. Hell, he's been so instrumental in pulling this together, he pretty much tapped himself for the job. Beneath the director, 4 department heads will handle different aspects of the operation. Did you catch that? He set himself up to take this job. That is Eddie. Anyway, he needed to be involved, basically. He had his own plan. Field operations, weapons, development, energy, research, and biology. I have a short list of candidates, but it's too soon to mention names yet. 3. Field ops. Thanks to quick work by the NATO Military Committee, Requiem strike teams will include Spec Ops personnel volunteered by the NATO member states. 4. Classified status. Office of Requiem will officially not exist. Like other clandestine operations, it will be funded from the Department of Defense black budget. Additional funding will come from NATO, though we're still working out details. I will keep you apprised of further developments as they occur. William J. Casey, Director of Central Intelligence. That is the beginning of Requiem. Requiem staffing announcement. Office of Requiem names department heads. Staffing decisions have been made and roles accepted by the candidates chosen to lead the 4 divisions comprising the newly established CIA Office of Requiem. They are as follows. 1. Field Operations. Special Agent Gregory Weaver is promoted to the rank of Special Operations Officer for this role. There are some internal pushback due to Weaver's previous designation as an enemy combatant during Operation Charybdis? But that designation was rescinded. Requiem's director chose him specifically for this assignment, and the DCI agreed. So Eddie chose Weaver specifically. Weaver's unorthodox approach to covert ops may be exactly what's needed to take on this unprecedented threat. 2. Containment and security. Major Mackenzie Carver, my friends call me Mac, you will not, is well known to many in the intelligence community. A veteran of the Korean and Vietnam conflicts, Mac has served as a DoD liaison to CIA for over a decade. While his blunt talk and aggressive demeanor have sometimes impeded his career advancement, those qualities are well suited to his role at Requiem, applying data and materials from Requiem Ops to develop weapon systems capable of keeping Soviet aggression in check. 3. Unnatural sciences. Dr. Elizabeth Gray is a top research scientist in the fields of genetics and biology. Her papers on anaerobic organisms and speculative theses on alien biomes earned her the invitation to lead Requiem's study of the other dimension and the creatures emerging from it. Her lack of military background was flagged as a concern, but she offers an outsider's perspective the director deems vital to our success. 4. Energy research. Dr. Oscar Strauss will lead studies of new discoveries in outbreak zones and determine scientific military applications. However, his past associations with the Nazi regime make Strauss a controversial choice. The director points out the same was true for Werner von Braun, who led NASA to the moon. For now, Strauss has our full support. So Eddie is basically in charge of making these appointments, and he picked all of our, handpicked basically all of our guys. This is a cipher. We're not going to do that. Okay. So, radio transmission from Firebase Z. Weaver tells the team that Omega is pulling ahead in the Ethereum arms race.
Team, I can't overstate just how important this mission is. We're at risk of falling so far behind, we may never catch up. My contacts in the field have provided intel that suggests Omega are not only advancing their Ethereum applications, but have in fact harnessed the power to move in and out of the other dimension at will. The other dimension? Well, it's got a name that you may have already heard. I'm not exactly sure who first coined the term, but we've taken to calling it the Dark Aether. The name is probably no more ominous than the reality. Omega's next move will doubtless be to try to weaponize it. I'm sure I don't have to tell you how bad that will be.
Pretty self-explanatory there. Nothing to go over.
You already know what the mission parameters are. You know what needs to be done. Even if we can't apprehend Peck, we must recover what remains of his intel. But there's more than that. You are already someone who knows when to read between the lines. You are someone who knows there are other battles to be won. Battles to avoid a bigger war. This is personal for me. You need to make every effort to extract Samantha Maxis. I'm trusting you.
Okay, Sam's in the Dark Aether. We gotta get her out. Peck.
William Peck. This fucker is a traitor. He deserves to be brought to justice. If you want to know what you're dealing with, I think it would be entirely appropriate to call him a malignant narcissist. However smart he may be, or thinks he is, the only thing he cares about is himself. Strange as it sounds, we could really use him right now.
Again, we've nothing particular there.
Outpost 25. Just look at this place. This hilltop used to be a U.S. Army fire support base called Ripcord. Nothing left of it now. This construction's all new. Our intel report said it was walled off. Impenetrable. Omega's very own Fort Knox. Not hard to see why. I'll make this clear. We're behind. Requiem's made progress, but it pales next to what Omega's accomplished. Teleportation, a new kind of super battery, and that assault rifle won't be long until the Reds have it in mass production. If we could recover that rifle tech, or their research on weaponization, it would be a very good day for Requiem. Hell, maybe I could pass it along to the DOD, give them something to cheer about. But we'll keep that one between us, won't we?
So again, we're behind. Omega's in front of us. Blah blah blah. The assault rifle thing is the Reiki. Juan, these are the field upgrades.
Now, all this sour talk doesn't mean Requiem hasn't had some wins. You're equipped with one right now. The WANDs, Weaponized Ethereum Neutralizer Device. Cool toy, right? Little pet project of mine. One of my men brought me the concept, and once I saw the schematics, I realized the tactical edge they provide in the field. Allocated one of our science teams to develop the tech. Dr. Strauss initially objected because, of course, that grouchy old German did, but he eventually came around. Sure, the names might be a little splashy, but you gotta let the eggheads have a little fun during R&D.
I remember when I first heard this, I was thinking like, oh, is this like a clue of what the next wonder weapon is going to be? Like on the next map? And it's like, oh, no. It's just talking about the field upgrades. The stick. Carver, this is again Major Carver.
I won't lie. It's a strange feeling sending you to Nam. Feels like yesterday I was being flown out. Man, that first week. It was hot, wet. No matter what you did, you couldn't get rid of the stick. You try washing it off and it just make it worse. And don't get me started on the damn lizards in the showers. Hard years. I lost men. Family, brothers. Then there was Apache snow. But that's a story for another time. Let's just say when we came back, the stick stuck with us. I spent years trying to clean it off.
The stick is, excuse me. It's literally, it's like a, it's what you're seeing, what you're experiencing. It stays with you. It's basically, you could think of it like PTSD kind of thing, I think. Blacksmiths and architects. This is Strauss.
Here you are.
Outpost 25, by the way. Sorry, that just to reiterate, that's what he was. Carver was just saying about, you know, Outpost 25. That is Firebase Z.
Here you are. Outpost 25. The progress they have made at this facility. We may as well be the NACA watching the Sputnik launch. I would be lying if I said the Ethereum-based power source hadn't caught my eye. It is interesting work, albeit crude and unrefined. They approach the process like a blacksmith when what it needs is an architect. Recover that research, and I will refine their work in weeks, ending this Ethereum energy space race before it's barely begun.
Again, nothing.
Ethereum has proven to be fascinating in both its gaseous and solid crystalline states. It appears the infected and dark ether creatures require it for their very survival, not unlike oxygen in our own reality.
Can I just say, this is actually a little bit interesting here, and we're bringing this forward to Modern Warfare 3 Zombies right now, and Ava Jansen. Ethereum has proven to be fascinating in both gaseous and solid crystalline states. It appears the infected and dark ether creatures require it for their very survival, not unlike oxygen in our own reality. And so what are we doing in Modern Warfare 3 Zombies is the Ethereum neutralizer device. That's what we do. That's the whole Act 3, the ending, is we beat the ether worm, and then it goes to cutscene. Dr. Jansen is running towards the device. She pulls the handle, and Ethereum neutralizer. That's why we see what's the guy's name? Zakayev. You see his Ethereum vial goes gray, like it killed it. That's what's going on there, and it should knock out and kill any zombie or whatever, anything, like all that stuff from the dark ether around it, because they need to have. That's why when we're in the dark ether, why it's always purple, is because it's basically like the solid forms of it is the purple crystals, and the gaseous forms, it's always in the air. Again, very much think of this, and if this seems weird that I keep relating it back to it, it's not. Call of Duty Zombies, especially Zombies, steals from other, whether it's films, whether it's books, mythology, history, whatever. They steal from that stuff all the time. So when I tell you, it's very much like, think of it as like in Stranger Things, the Upside Down. Remember in the Upside Down, all stuff, the shit floating in the air makes you cough, and all the flakes and stuff we'll never see, and it's actually changing you and killing you in there. Like, it's very much like that. Anyway, let's keep going.
Ethereum has proven to be fascinating in both its gaseous and solid crystalline states. It appears the infected and dark ether creatures require it for their very survival, not unlike oxygen in our own reality. We've observed that the farther you are from a breach, the less exposure you risk. If Ethereum is their oxygen, this explains why they are restricted to these outbreak zones. But I suppose this is all rather boring to you. I may as well be attempting discourse with a slab of meat, a bovine with a submachine gun. You would do well to remember how Ethereum has benefited you in the field. Major Carver's WANDs, the experimental explosives you clear pathways with. 2 examples of things that would not exist if not for my work. You're welcome.
So again, he keeps, feeling the need, Strauss keeps feeling the need to justify himself just in case, everybody's like thinking he's because he's German, Nazi, whatever. Like, hey, I did this for you. So again, it was kind of leading up to like, okay, well, obviously he's going to be one of the bad guys. He's a double agent. Something's going to go off with Strauss, and then they never did. So doesn't mean that they can't in the future, still, but they never did in this story. A storied career, Strauss.
The goal of my work has always been to create the tools necessary for humanity's improvement, not its destruction. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. But I was very young when the Uran Verein whisked me from university to end station. I was promised the opportunity to explore a new frontier of atomic research. When I realized that meant weapons research, I requested reassignment. Little did I know my transfer would be to a much more insidious project led by Dr. Friedrich Steiner. After a year, I literally could no longer stomach it. I defected as part of Operation Paperclip. It has been something of a storied career since then, but given Ethereum's potential, I am still hopeful Requiem will make the right decision on where to focus its efforts.
Operation Paperclip is a real thing, by the way. That happened. I'm not an expert on it. I mean, that's way overstated. I don't know very much about it. I believe what that was part of the attempt by the U.S. to get Nazi scientists basically free and clear of any kind of war crime charges. And as was mentioned earlier in one of these other intel drops, I don't remember his name at the moment, I'm forgetting it, went on to head NASA, which is true. It was a Nazi scientist and came to work for the U.S. at NASA. So that whole Operation Paperclip thing is a real thing, and he was pulled out of it. Again, he's continuing to try to justify, hey, look, I'm not a bad guy. I know I worked with these guys. I didn't know that's what it was going to be. I thought it was, atomic research. I didn't know it was weapons and blah, blah, blah. The thick of it, this is from Dr. Gray.
Well, we're in the thick of it now, aren't we? So far, these breaches have been random, and we've had to scramble to react to their sudden appearance. But if Omega has the tech to control when and where these portals open... Nope, shouldn't even entertain that thought. Maybe it's just down to the region's dimensional fragility and they haven't actually developed the tech to open them willy-nilly. At least not yet. Now, as for this whole conscripted labor thing, forcing people across the threshold to collect crystals and data, that is not okay. Hopefully my device will help us solve that problem, at least in terms of research gathering. More on that later.
I think that's the, how when we go do the Orda boss fight on Outbreak, I think that's what she's talking about, her device. Is it? I honestly don't know. What did we use to collect anything? Other than the DIE shockwave, you could pull in that one crystal part of it, but that wasn't all of that stuff, so I'm not exactly sure what she's talking about there. Transformative properties. This is from Dr. Gray again.
What I'm still really keen to understand is the transformative properties of Ethereum. We saw what happened to those poor sods at End Station. Some of the infected remain mostly humanoid, while others resemble more powerful, evolved creatures. What made their transformations different? Take that infected Omega soldier, the one who helped us with the particle accelerator. Why did he turn into that? That's one of the things I'd like to answer. Maybe not here, maybe not today, but it's on the list.
Dr. Gray
We've seen the elements' impact on humans and the environment, the infected transformations, the blossoming crystals. Now, what I'm really eager to learn is, can we harness and control the effects? Keep the benefits and discard all the crap that hurts us? We saw what happened when Boyer genetically modified bacteria. We got insulin. Changed the world. So what if we alter bacteria from the infected? What genetic secret do you unlock? Super strength? Pain resistance? Immortality? Okay, no, actually, I do not like the sound of that at all. I know I'm essentially working for the military now, but I'd really rather focus on how all this helps the world. Helps people. That's what I want. I hope you feel the same.
This is just, again, kind of more like Gray she's good. She's coming at this from a pure place. She's not trying to, she's not trying to build weapons or do anything that would hurt people. She's only trying to help. That's what that boils down to. Then we got some artifacts. That was the Reiki, Kuklai, rather. The Reiki, the blueprint, weapon trial folder, Kuklay's weapon trial folder detailing testing and development of his experimental prototype will be helpful for Requiem's own weapons research. Kuklay's diary, recovered from a storage locker. The journal offers deeper insights into Omega's research and Kuklay's disdain for his immediate superior. I gotta be honest with you, I don't really remember Kuklay. I mean, he developed the Reiki, I guess, obviously, but like I don't really remember thinking about him very much back in the day. Okay, so we're on to, that was everything from them, yeah, okay. So we're on to Omega from Season 1 here. And we are definitely, obviously, if you can't tell, we're already at 2 hours. We're not going to get through, and we're not even through Season 1. We're like, we finished preseason, and we're not even halfway through Season 1. So we are obviously not going to go through all 6 seasons of this stuff tonight. This could be easily 2 more streams, so sorry to most people that obviously are not that interested. I probably will break this up into like 2 seasons at a time. We'll try to squeeze in, we'll do like 2, 3, and 2, or 2, 2, and 3, or something like that. I don't know, because you guys are obviously not super down with this. It's just viewership wise, I can tell. But anyway, we're doing it. Turning point from okay, so this is back on D Machina now, so keep that in mind. So like again, this stuff isn't exactly like straight down the line. This is how you pick up everything. It's like, so from turning point down to the bottom here at Outpost 25 has fallen. Like, we're collecting things from D Machina throughout the season, keeps going, more stuff from D Machina. Then Firebase Z came out, so we're starting to get stuff from Firebase Z. So it's same thing with from Requiem. These are not like, you would get Requiem, Omega, Max's, and Dark Aether stuff all at the same time, and then as the season progressed, you would get more from each of those. So this is not like a direct line of how everything came out. Got to keep that in mind. This is Valentina, so I don't think this is the first time we're hearing from her.
This is Dr. Alexandra Valentina, Psychotronics Research Lead for Omega Group. It is the 1st of November, 1983. I have just given the order to reactivate the Project End Station Particle Accelerator. It is a monumental moment in Soviet history. Some, including myself, might even call it a turning point. 2 officers have volunteered for the task. Their courage and sacrifice represent the pinnacle of Soviet strength. Their names will be echoed through Lubyanka's halls. They will be remembered as heroes. It has all happened so quickly. 4 months of research, testing, planning, and staging. I must thank Chairman Chebrikov, Chairman Andropov, and the rest of the Politburo. Without their support, Operation Undertaker would not have been possible. With the cyclotron's reactivation, not only will we reopen the dimensional gate first discovered by the Germans 40 years ago, but also additional dimensional gates around the globe. With these new gateways opened, we will proceed to Phase 2 and begin the real work. Research of this new dimension and the development of new technologies. These technologies will be critical to our future. It is the turning point that will put us well ahead of our enemies in the West. We were the first. We are the last.
And it would open up, again, when they activated things at End Station, it did open up all these breaches throughout the world, and we already went over it in a separate piece of intel. But this is the first time we're hearing from Valentina. Again, this is Dr. Vogel's daughter. Angelica Hannibal Vogel. Again, the code that we put into the computer, into Dr. Vogel's computer, AHV. His daughter, her initials. Next phase, this is again from D Machina. This is from Dr. Peck.
Personal log. Dr. William Peck, November 3rd, 1983. Operation Undertaker has been declared.
Okay, first of all, that doesn't sound like Peck, right? Did they get 2 different actors to play him? So this is from D Machina, and then when we get to when we actually get to Firebase Z, he sounds very different. So I'm gonna guess they actually got a different actor to play him.
Personal log. Dr. William Peck, November 3rd, 1983. Operation Undertaker has been declared a resounding success. Intel has reported in from around the globe. We have confirmed the existence of multiple dimensional gates. To the surprise of many, including myself, it appears Dr. Valentina's hypothesis was correct. In fact, her results have surpassed expectations. Credit where credit is due. But now we are on to phase 2, where my expertise comes into play. I've received a report that a live specimen has already been acquired and transported to my facility for analysis. The organisms of this other world are unlike anything I've seen. There is so much we can learn from them. It's not just the creatures. It's these crystalline growths. The Colonel wants weapons? Why stop there? We can do so much more.
Okay, this is just giving us an idea of what is, it scares some people and it excites other people like Peck, about what it will do, the creatures and all this kind of stuff, what it can do. And then 100%, I don't know if it's a different actor 100%, but it's definitely a different voice that they gave him. Like, he's sounding too kind of normal here, I guess, and they just made him sound sleazier in Firebase Z. I don't know. You guys kind of already know all this stuff. Like, there's nothing to really go into there as well. Dimensional fertility, Firebase Z. Again, this is Peck.
Personal log, Peck, November 9th, 1983. 2 days ago, I identified and submitted the perfect location for Phase 2. After assessing the dimensional breach outside of Khe Sanh, I found a mountaintop formerly occupied by an American base called Ripcord. It has the ideal dimensional fertility to suit our project's needs. I just received word an agreement was reached with the Vietnamese government, and construction is set to begin on the 11th. What excellent news. So far, the breaches have been uncontrolled, which
Now it
greatly
sounds like
restricted our ability to take advantage of this new dimension. But, if we are able to open our own stabilized gateway that operates under our control, well, I mean, come on. We'll be the first with free reign to pilfer, pillage, and plunder an alien world, untainted and ripe with resources ready for extraction. It will give us a considerable edge over my former countrymen. Good riddance to them. This is Dr. William Peck. It is the 8th of January, 1984, 1:13 a.m. This is test number 32 for Dimensional Breach.
Must you start with that every recording?
Do not interrupt, Dimitri. This is your chance to learn something from a real scientist. As I was saying, test number 32. Dr. Kukle, you may proceed.
Activating resonator. Beginning magnetic amplification. Dimensional barrier identified. Beginning particle distortion.
Barrier membrane integrity at 50%.
Amplification is still approaching the limits prematurely.
Increasing voltage output from the therium crystal. It's working. Membrane integrity at 40%.
Amplification has reached maximum safety parameters.
Let it ride, Dimitri. Let it ride. Increasing voltage output.
Amplification exceeding safety parameters. I'm shutting it down.
You touch that button, I'll have you gutted like a fish and fed to your comrades in Solyanka soup. Membrane integrity down to 10%.
You Mudak! You'll get us killed.
Wait. Adjusting distortion frequency to pattern echo 4.
My God.
Eat your heart out, Dr. Vogel. We'll see who history remembers.
They were successful. Ethernauts. So this is the people they send into the Dark Aether. This is Dr. Peck again.
Peck here. Personal log, March 19th. After weeks of phasic misalignment resulting in numerous anatomical displacements, today marked our first successful teleportation test. I'm sure Private Pashkov was happy to arrive with all parts intact. After the generators last month, this marks the second milestone achievement for Outpost 25. I must admit, our rapid progress is due in no small part to our Dark Aether miners, or Ethernauts, as the Kremlin has chosen to call them. Dr. Kuklay tells me crystal collection is up nearly 240%. This intake volume has allowed our scientists to continue working around the clock, and is frankly how we've accomplished this impressive feat. It is true some don't return, but I'm told it's a small percentage. That said, many of those who do return have displayed physical and psychological symptoms, ranging from infection to amnesia. Unfortunately, these subjects after study must be euthanized.
Huh.
I've spoken with Kuklay about developing a memory transference machine. Give us the chance to at least recover the affected's memories. That will take time to construct, so in the interim, I'm developing a truth serum to assist with interviewing the amnesiacs. Maybe we can pry the truth from their damaged synapses, so their deaths won't be a total waste.
And again, the truth serum is something during Firebase we actually give to Dr. Peck, so he'll tell us the truth, and then we can go get the traps, and you guys remember the story, I'm sure. So we don't have to go into that very much. Again, Kuklay is the guy that developed the Reiki, and just giving us an idea of what happens more, what happens to people that spend time in the Dark Aether. You're calling them Ethernauts, the people that go in there, whether they want to or not.
Proceeding with examination of upper abdomen. Dimitri, retractors.
Placing the retractors.
Organs appear somewhat similar to our own, but everything seems merged, interlinked. Observe the lungs. Similar location, but its pleura extends and connects directly to the heart, passing through the endocardium. There appears to be something engraved on the interior of the creature's back. What is that?
Что за shirt? It is a face.
Yes, there does appear to be a warped, stretched pigmentation that resembles a human face.
Resembles? Look! It even has a bump where the nose should be. Wait. No! It is Private Glasgow. We sent him to the other side last month, but he never came back. Is this thing him?
That last remark is to be struck from the record. We have no proof this creature is Private Glasgow. Let's continue. I suppose that's as good a place as any to terminate the session. Subject has turned itself into a cassette tape.
Okay, so that was a little bit of a setup as well. He was only in there for a month, and again, in Dark Aether times, that would be like 10 months. But his face was inside of his back, and he had been completely formed into this new creature. And then, while they were looking at him as this creature, they were kind of dissecting him. He turned into a cassette tape. So you guys remember when you're doing the escort step mission, whatever it's called in Outbreak, how the monkey would be in the cage, and then we would lead it, and then it would turn into different things along the way each time we stopped at one of those stations. Basically, that's exactly what's happened here. Well, it's literally exactly what's happened here. So it's just kind of a setup for what was to come. I'll be right back. Okay. Kuklay's payback.
Fucking stupid. Peck. Be quiet, Dimitri. This is a chance to learn from a real scientist. Dimitri, do this. Dimitri, do that. Shame on you, Dimitri. I will have you turned into soup. I am Dr. Peck. I'm a big, smart, real scientist. Fuck you! How about that, Peckerman? Fuck you! So I decide enough. Time to work on my own invention. I take the Ethereum crystal and I design new rifle that would make Kalashnikov weep. And what does Peck do? He laughs! Says it is waste of time. Calls it a child's toy.
Stop being so small-brained, Dimitri.
Small brain, I show you, Peck. No, shit. You are not the only smart man at this facility. Peck wants me to give up. Probably because Peck wants to steal it for himself. Now he can never assemble it. When I leave this place, I will take it with me and sell it to the highest bidder.
Maybe I underestimated you, Dr. Kuklay.
Of course you did, Peck. You see, I always have had a keen eye for opportunity.
Again, building the Reiki.
That's not to say I don't have my suspicions. Once I've gathered sufficient evidence, did I not say no interruptions? Gorev, you're here. In Vietnam?
In the flesh, comrade. What? Old friend cannot be visited? You look so rigid, Peck. So nervous. You remind me of San before he does his silly theater shows. He freezes up, like he sees ghosts and forgets lines. That or he soils his pants. I trust that is not the case here. Sit down, please, before you hurt self. You look rather pale, even for you. How are you not getting sun here in such temperate climate?
May I inquire as to the purpose of your visit, Gorev?
I am here with special message. One I decided to deliver personally. We intercepted communication from BND agent MWIII. You remember her? The leaked in-station tape?
Why would I give a rat's ass about her? Isn't she dead?
It is funny you say this, because not only is she very much alive, but she has turned one of your men at this very facility. He is planning to deliver your research to Requiem.
I find that highly improbable.
Highly improbable. Why do Americans talk like this? It is either truth or not truth. Why must you be so non-committal to facts? I do not understand this.
What exactly do you need from me?
Orders from Colonel. And orders are simple. Pretend to be mole, plant trap, apprehend MWIII.
Then what?
Interrogate her, torture her. I don't need to know the specifics. As long as she confesses and reveals who Mole is, I am happy. It is good when I am happy, yes.
I'll take care of it personally.
Okay, a couple things here. This really just sets up how scared Peck is of, the Russians, even though he's, flipped and is working for them. 2, about getting MWIII. He doesn't care what happens to her. He can do, Peck can do whatever he wants with her, but just find out who the mole is. And we know, of course, that, why do I keep forgetting his name? Ravenov is the mole, but MWIII is not going to flip on him. And that she is going to eventually get sent into the Dark Aether by Peck. To dust you will return.
So, Sam, do you realize what this is? Do you even know? Of course you don't. So I'll tell you. It's a gateway into the other world. Have you ever even dreamt of such a thing? Have you ever imagined what it would be like if everything you knew to be true was just turned upside down, changed forever? That's what this represents. It's a door to another world, one that could enrich or destroy everything depending on who holds the keys. Look at you. Resolute. Stubborn. Your silence isn't going to help you in any way, you know. In fact, it's just going to make things worse. We will find your informant, believe me. That's the funny thing about secrets. They can't stay secret forever. Sooner or later, they are always exposed, along with all their inherent beauty or ugliness. You know, I don't think you realize just how small of a cog you are in this machine. You're close to nothing. Worthless. No one is coming for you because no one cares about you. Honestly, I'm doing you and the world a favor. We are made from Earth, and we will return to Earth. Some of us sooner than others. From dust you are, and to dust you will return.
So he's got Maxis. We already know all this stuff.
Hello? Hello? Can you hear me? Is anyone there? The dial tells me this is the correct broadcast frequency, so I'm just going to assume you can hear me. Whichever Omega lackey happens to be receiving this transmission, start dialing the Colonel. Now! I've got a, developing situation over here. Outpost 25 has fallen. Everyone here is either dead, dying, or infected. I'm the last one alive. I want to make this unequivocally clear. This is not my fault. It was the gateway. Without warning, it unleashed a massive burst of Ethereum. The infection spread quickly, and as my men began to turn, I observed a phasic barrier surround the base. My men tried to escape, but anyone who entered this phase quickly succumbed to a terrible case of death. More creatures keep arriving every hour. I'm trapped in a room with little food and only a literal pot to piss in. Get me the hell out of here!
And that's, again, of course, we see Peck in the room, you know, in Firebase Z. When we get in there, that's where he's been trapped, and, yeah. Okay, documents. Oh my god. Okay. On creation of new Spetsnaz Special Operations Unit Omega Group per order of Yuri Andropov, Chairman for State Security. Effective August 30th, 1975, KGB Omega Group is established to identify, study, and weaponize the types of psychotronic phenomena, biocommunication, bioinformation, and bioenergetics. First identified in 1924 by the Soviet Committee for Physical Research and later confirmed at the University of Leningrad Institute for Brain Research and the Czech Coordination Group for Psychotronic Research. Omega Group will comprise hand-picked specialists from Spetsgruppe Alpha, Spetsgruppe Wimpel, and Spetsgruppe Smerch. Technical support for both foreign and domestic operations will be provided by the First Chief Directorate. The commanding officer of Omega Group will report directly to the Chairman for State Security. While Omega Group operations will be military, key personnel are being requisitioned from experimental research programs to investigate possible weapons applications of any exoscientific phenomena encountered. Note, the Chairman frowns upon the term supernatural. So basically this is the formation of the Omega Group, whereas we just saw the whole formation of the CIA's version, which was called... I forget already. These stupid names back and forth. Funding for Omega Group will come from the KGB discretionary budget. Again, the whole thing with the CIA site is it's coming from their black budget. This is the exact same thing. It's the exact same thing. It's just one side and the other. It's kind of like how everybody hated The Last of Us Part 2 because we saw things from both sides. Like, no, I just want to be on Ellie's side. Oh. You don't get to be. And will be dispersed proportionate to the scope of Omega operations. Experimental ordnance will be made available on an ongoing basis. Area of operations is global, but all missions are strictly covert. Neither the Soviet people nor the outside world can be aware of Omega Group's existence or purpose. Requiem. Jeepers, thank you. Operation Undertaker. Regarding Operacja Grobowczyk. Author Dr. Alexandra Valentina. Again, we know Valentina. Background, March 23, U.S. President Reagan announces Strategic Defense Initiative. If implemented, SDI constitutes a mortal threat to the Soviet Union. 25 March, KGB Chairman Cheberkov assigns new commanding officer to KGB Spetsnaz Omega Group with orders to restore units to full readiness and deliver results capable of offsetting the SDI. March 26th, the Colonel orders Omega Group Research and Development Team to scour KGB archives. 15 July, Dr. Alexandra Valentina discovers 2 reels of film in an intelligence vault sealed since 1945. The content of these films, taken at a German site in Poland, codenamed End Station, is flagged for review by the Chairman of State Security. August 2nd, Cheberkov convenes meeting with Chairman Andropov and top members of Politburo, screening the films and proposing the weaponization of the phenomena recorded at End Station. Within 2 weeks of approval is given for Operation Undertaker to be carried out by Special Operations Group Omega. Mission status: End Station, site in Moscow Meteorite Preserve, secured August 28th. Cover story about unexploded ordnance supports armed perimeter to keep locals away. Dr. Valentina and Dr. William Peck began examination of abandoned German scientific equipment. 2 months of study by Peck and Valentina confirm cyclotron and other experimental devices are restored to operational condition. The Colonel is currently dispatching additional Omega teams to End Station for particle accelerator restart. Results will be provided to the Chairman after 2 November. Dr. Alexandra Valentina, Psychotronics Research Lab, Psychotronics Research Lead, Omega Group. Kaysan site. Operacja Redacted. Author Dr. William Peck. Background, 16 August. Operation Undertaker is given formal approval to be carried out by Special Operations Group Omega. 1 November. Operation Undertaker is completed. Dimensional gateways open around the world, including one near Hoang Hoa District of Quang Tri Province, Socialist Republic of Vietnam. So basically that was when they went back to End Station and restarted it. And it opened up the portals around the world, and then in Vietnam it happened, and that's, Firebase 8. November 8th, Chairman Cheberkov comes to an agreement with Chairman Pham Van Dong to construct a KGB Spetsnaz Omega Group facility outside district capital Kaysan. 9 November, approval is given for Operation Redacted to be carried out by Special Operations Group Omega. November 11, construction begins for Omega Group site near Kaysan. Mission status: Omega Group operations site secured near Kaysan on 11 November. Cover story about recently discovered U.S. chemical weapon being accidentally detonated has successfully resonated throughout the community. Site construction has begun, with completion anticipated by 15 February. The Colonel has expressed in using site to begin testing on Redacted. Additionally, Operation Redacted will focus on further testing with redacted text. Formal request to begin curating volunteers for experimentation has been submitted. Pending approval, expect our first full report before March. Dr. William Peck, Exoscientific Phenomena Research Lead, Omega Group. Authorization to conscript, which means basically just to force them into to do, well, usually the military, but whatever. Authorization to conscript Ethereum miners. Having reviewed all progress reports from Outpost 25 in Vietnam, Firebase Z, And in light of recent losses of valuable Spetsnaz operators, the chairman approves the colonel's request for volunteers to carry out Ethereum mining duties in the Dark Aether dimension. Ethereum mining has quickly gained paramount importance as we have come to understand the element's unique properties. The fruits of this labor will allow the Soviet Union to explore new scientific frontiers that may ultimately be the decisive factor in our eventual triumph over the forces of greed and imperialism. Such progress always comes at a cost. The chairman salutes those brave souls who have gone missing in the Dark Aether. He expects those who follow to complete the task begun by their betters. Because they actually volunteered their betters. Even though they're all getting killed. Omega Group forces at Outpost 25 are instructed to begin recruiting Ethereum miners from the local population. Conscription will be carried out in conjunction with the authorities in Thua Tien Hui and Quang Tri provinces. Antagonizing our North Vietnamese comrades would be counterproductive, and they will be eager to rid themselves of undesirables and intellectuals who may prove to be ideal Ethereum miners. To help accelerate the process, the Kremlin will provide additional Ethereum miners from prisons and work camps across the Soviet Union. Even enemies of the state can serve the greater good. The chairman expects this will put an end to the loss of Spetsnaz personnel while increasing Ethereum collection yields. They're forcing people to go into the Dark Aether. Omega Teleporter Blueprint. This is it takes you from the spawn room up into the main base proper. We know what the blueprint is. Ethereum production report. Regarding Ethereum as a power source from Dr. William Peck. Summary, I am pleased to report my work here at Outpost 25 is yielding breakthroughs even I dared not expect. The resources you so generously allocated for construction on the former site of fire support base Ripcord was definitely money well spent, and I am close to giving the USSR a massive strategic advantage over the West. As I predicted, Ethereum, the novel element originating from the Dark Aether dimension, is proving to be a remarkable source of energy that lends itself to a variety of applications. To put it in layman's terms, this stuff is the new plutonium, only better. Like plutonium, Ethereum can yield tremendous amounts of energy, enough that the Soviet Union need never be dependent on foreign oil, unlike my former countrymen, meaning the US. And again, like plutonium, it can be refined to increase its potency and bring it to what you might call weapons grade. I am currently perfecting the process with enough time and a lot more samples. I believe we can achieve practically limitless energy yields. This is not just an evolution of energy production, it is a revolution. America and the NATO countries are way behind us on the Ethereum front. We can extend our lead if we keep collecting more Ethereum specimens. I appreciate the brave Spetsnaz operators who have been doing this work, and I honor their sacrifice. Rest assured, I am working on better communications while they're on the other side to help them come home safely. Dr. William Peck, Exoscientific Research, Phenomena Research Lead, Omega Group. Is a mimic. Specimen K7, 1924, Spetsgruppe Omega Autopsy Report, Examiner Dr. Dmitry Kukle. Species unknown, date 11 May 1984, identification specimen K7-1924. Subject is specimen, I just said this, Jesus. Recovered from Dark Aether Dimension on 9 May 1984. Subject recovered by miner Tobias Schenk. Subject was captured alive. While caged, subject transformed into several common objects, seemingly at will. Weight of subject changed based on the object it transformed into. Subject took form of 1. Crate, 2. Equipment storage container, 3. Chair, 4. Rifle, 5. Ethereum containment canister. Subject was terminated after escaping containment by taking form of rifle. Guard unwittingly opened cell, not realizing. With additional research, we could potentially adapt creatures' camouflage ability for humans. Warfare implications are massive. Prior to termination, subject used prehensile tentacles to attack soldiers as it stormed through the base. Tentacles appear to operate independently from arms and legs. Subject able to extend tentacles and grapple unsuspecting humans. This is just describing what a mimic is. Ciphers, we don't care. Radio transmissions, let's go.
To my friends at Omega HQ, back here at Outpost 25 with an update on my situation. Requiem is here, and believe it or not, that's actually good news. Now, why would you say that, Peck? I can hear you ask. Well, let me explain. Do you know what I love about Requiem? They're idiots. And idiots are good for one thing: following instructions. Obeying without a moment's hesitation. Like a lemming leaping off a cliff. Well, these little Requiem lemmings leapt right into restarting the power for me. Which means I can now begin satellite transfer of all our work back to Omega HQ. The facility may be lost, but Omega's work will live on. Don't thank me. Thank Requiem. What good, little lemmings.
Oh, Beck. When I heard of your situation, I cannot say I was surprised. What was it? Experiment gone wrong? Did you forget to carry the 1 in equation? Drop deadly vial? Or was it worse? Something more sinister? How many men have you sent to their deaths in other dimensions? Maybe one came back for revenge? Rest assured, we are assessing situation. It does not look good for you. I told them it was big risk hiring Americans. They are not built to last. I'll report back soon with our decision. Heck, it is Valentina again. Omega has made decision. And looks like your ace-up sleeve actually worked. We are receiving your satellite transfer. Download should be complete within an hour. Once it is done, you are to destroy mainframe. Ensure there is nothing left for Requiem to acquire. Omega teams are en route to your position for evac. ETA 2 hours. Do try to stay alive until then. Valentina out.
There's really nothing particularly new.
Hello, Peck. I have been informed to your current situation. Most unfortunate, especially for men with bright future. I had big hopes for you. An American in Moscow, like classic Hollywood movie, huh? I was Gene Kelly, and you, well, you were the other one. When I last spoke to you, I gave you a simple task. Capture Nexus, find them all. Simple. 1 week later, and you have outdone yourself. You have destroyed your base, gotten countless loyalists killed. But at least you learned who Maul was, huh? But wait. This is not true. You did not find Maul. You also lost most valuable intelligence assets because you think it was a smart idea to throw her into other fucking dimension. Do not worry, Peck. Gorev is here now to clean up your mess. I will find your Maul. For his sake, I hope he is dead. If he is not, he will soon wish he was.
So this whole thing is really about Peck being not so smart. He's more vindictive than smart. He doesn't really think ahead. He'd rather torture Sam by sending her to another dimension than to actually extract pertinent information from her. Because he's a sick fuck, basically. Anyway, okay, that's that. Artifacts. Cool Clay's eye. Cool Clay's dead. Obviously, he built the Ray Cave. That's him. Ravenov, his ID badge. And I was talking about the mole. Again, the mole was Ravenov. Agent delivery system. We know this. We build this and when we do the trap. I mean, the Easter egg. And then we have the essence trap. We know about that as well. And the ether meter, which is again finding the crystals, part of the whole Easter egg stuff. We know about these things also. Okay, let's get through these because you guys don't care about this stuff anymore. So we're gonna finish this up, and then we're gonna do all of it. I mean, over the next, honestly, this weekend we're gonna do all of it. So
you received the files, yes?
Yes, I received the files, but I have not reviewed them. My situation is changing.
You are no longer with the BND?
Let's just say I'm more of a free agent now. There are many spies and traitors within our national institutions.
I understand.
Which leads me to wonder, why are you a traitor? I've seen your record. A founding member of the KGB counter-terrorist detachment, Alpha Group. You took part in operations across the globe. Central America, the Caribbean, Angola, Afghanistan.
Yes, I am a loyal soldier of the Soviet Union. I have done questionable things. Terrible things. But I am no traitor. If you knew who was running Omega, and I believe you already do, you would not even have to ask me that question. I am not a traitor to my country. Despite their slogans and mantras, Omega are not who we are.
Are you certain of that?
Look at the files. Learn something of their work. There you will find your answers as to why I am choosing to do what I am doing.
I will, soon. Stay safe. You will hear from me again. I am troubled in ways I was not yesterday. The information I have received from the Soviet informant has confirmed that Omega's plans are further advanced than even I had feared previously. Omega's leader clearly seeks to control the bridges between this and the other world. He may well be succeeding. Their internal propaganda claims to offer men the opportunity to become heroic explorers of a brave new frontier. Like the cosmonauts whose first journeys into space shocked the world. Even if they had a choice, these men have little idea or understanding of the fate that awaits them. The horror laid out in the other documents makes clear the truth of their glorious contributions. They, like so many before them, are being used. They are miners at the coalface, stricken by blackened lungs, not cosmonauts reaching for the stars. Their bodies, their minds, their very souls, all of it will be ravaged in Omega's relentless pursuit to harness Ethereum. Weaver must know of this. William Heck.
Well, you're very perceptive, Miss Maxis, even with the blindfold.
I thought I smelled the bullshit as soon as the door opened, but no. It's just a cheap aftershave. It can't disguise the stink of your sweat.
What can I say? This environment is more humid than I would like. It's worse than Baton Rouge at the height of summer.
We're not here to discuss your sartorial failings. Let's get this over with.
Over with? No, my dear. Nothing is ending anytime soon. Not for you, not for me. Besides the restraints on your wrists and ankles, you feel the electrodes on your body. Yes, of course you do. You're a smart girl. Who is your informant? Who told you about our work here? Who was it who dared betray me?
Does it bother you? Not having any friends?
Friends are overrated. They can't pay the bills.
You do realize the Milgram experiment only showed how subservient people could be when challenged by an authority figure.
Any more smart comments to make?
are you?
So Peck caught Nexus, and now he's torturing her for info, and she's not going to give it up. Omega Blueprint Portal. Not going to go over that. Omega Propaganda Post. This is about the Ethernet stuff. Ethereum Effects Report. Almost weeks past since civilian volunteers took over Ethereum mining duties from our Spetsnaz operators. Ethereum crystal collection is up 237%, where we also have confirmed prolonged exposure to Dark Aether incurs a physical and mental toll. Preliminary findings as follows. Each miner who ventures into the Dark Aether is given a medical and psychiatric examination upon return. At present, completion rate is 76%, meaning a quarter of Ethereum miners sent through Dr. Peck's Omega Portal chamber are lost and presumed dead. Those who return, blah, blah, blah. This isn't really particularly relevant to what we're trying to find out here today. So this, like, the Dark Aether is dangerous. We know that.
Hate to break it to you, but this event isn't an isolated incident. Russian forces are mobilizing in multiple locations across the world, and right now, you're weeks, if not months, behind them. I wasn't sure at first, but now I know who they are. A little-known offshoot of the KGB known as the Omega Group. I'd seen mention of their activities a few times over the years, but...
Okay, this is stuff we already know as well from other intel that we've already looked at, so let's just keep going.
So right now, I'm looking at the big bad Russian boogeyman that we know as Omega. Then, the other side, there's you. A CIA-backed department known as Requiem. You know much about them? Or do you just follow orders? I suspect the latter. And I thank you for your service. This isn't me ragging on your operation. God knows me and Weaver got a history and a whole lot in common. But there's always the question, the worry, of divided loyalties. Weaver's half Russian, I'm German. Who are you fighting in World War II? You sure you know who the enemy is now? This is a new landscape. None of this is what any of us are used to. I'm going to do my part while you do yours. I think there's a lot more to this than we know. I want you to know that I've been in your shoes. And you can trust Weaver. He's a good man to have in your corner. A good boss. Back in the 70s, West Germany was a major investor and supplier to Iran. In exchange for oil and gas, we propped up their steel industry and aided their nuclear power program. I was there in '79 when the revolution kicked off. Western intelligence agencies coordinated with the CIA to ensure the Shah's safe extraction to the US. But a lot of diplomats and citizens weren't so lucky. Me included. If it wasn't for Weaver's intervention and willingness to go off the books, I'd be a forgotten memory by now. Trust him. Trust me. For now, I'm going to have to go dark. I'm en route to meet a contact in Southeast Asia. He says he knows exactly what Omega Group is planning.
This is, again, just a little bit more history and leading up to Firebase Z and talking about Ravenov just going to meet a friend. Cody in Firebase Z, please answer. I know you're listening.
Code in. I am alive. Yes. Still alive. Hear me. I really do hope that you can hear me. Yes, it is me. Please answer. I know you are listening. Code out. I'm not worthless. I'm not nothing.
Okay.
I don't know how long I've been waiting for an answer, but I haven't had
By the way,
one
I don't know if this is her in the Dark
I
Ether
know you are there.
sending radio communications
I know.
through it or not. I
But
suspect
I
it
am
is, but
here, and I have been
I don't
waiting
know.
for a long time. How long, I don't know. The days are blurred. The nights are relentless. Is it a week? Is it a month? More? It all seems so long ago. Not too long ago. I hope.
yes,
Monsters are
definitely in the
real.
Dark Ether.
I used to have nightmares about them. And I told myself I was being foolish. I was wrong. I'm not scared. I have overcome much worse things. I will take their power from them by using it. Now, I hide in shadows, like they did when I was a child. I found shelter. I found food. I do what I need to in order to survive. Tomorrow will be a better day. I will choose to believe that. The perpetual night brings dark thoughts inside me. I want to get it out. I don't understand why. I am not spiteful. I am just. I am only me.
Dark Ether messing with her, obviously. This is the whole point when Peck had sent her to the Dark Ether, and we have yet to pull her out from Firebase Z.
I am sorry. It's always dark here. I used to worry that morning would never come. But now, I choose to embrace
Batman.
the darkness, to find the light within myself. I am not a bad person. I am a good soul.
Forsaken. This is exactly what she says at the end of Forsaken.
Believe that. I have to believe that. I wish I could prove it. Maybe I shouldn't. Why do I care what they think of me? I'm just sorry. They do not really know me.
So this is actually a little bit interesting as far as Gulf War comes into play here. You know, I've beaten Forsaken a bunch of times, so I've seen, you know, at the end, she's talking to Weaver, I'm not a bad person, I'm a good soul. She says exactly that in on Forsaken. Before she flies into the Forsaken stomach, you know, into the Dark Ether. So she said this back in the Dark Ether in Firebase Z. So that's when Peck has put her in there, and we have yet to get to Firebase Z and pull her fully out. So, and as we've been hearing, you know, from these radio transmissions that she sent from in there, is that, you know, it's perpetual night. She's not feeling good. She's feeling like the bad thoughts kind of, you know, keep coming. Don't know why. You know, and she's trying to fight it off, but, you know, blah, 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 and whatever, and plus the monsters. So, at the end of Firebase, I mean, at the end of Forsaken, she goes in there. Like, we don't know if... Well, there's also the cutscene at the very, very end with Peck. You know, the screen goes black. It says 5 years later, after all of our guys get arrested. And then he wants to go to what looks like Zetsubo no Shima on the map anyway. Don't know if it is or not, but whatever. You know, it kind of looks like it. Is it? Who knows? We'll find out, hopefully. But if she's been in there for 5 years and the Dark Ether is 10 times, like the length of time that you're in there is actually 10 times as long in the Dark Ether. So if she's in there for 5 years, in the Dark Ether, it'll be 50 years time. And we saw what happened with Zykov, who was in there. That was for like literally 40 years, though, like our time. So that's 400 years, Dark Ether time. He turned from a human into the big purple monster thing that we saw at the end of Forsaken, right? So by the time Gulf War rolls around, if Sam is been in there for that long, and we don't know that she has, and I'm kind of looking forward to getting back to the end of like all this intel, and I'm probably gonna want to play through or at least just watch the cutscenes and stuff again from the end of Forsaken, because I don't really remember why she felt the need to, like, that she had to go into the Dark Aether. I mean, the whole point of us doing the stuff that we were doing is to break the Dark Aether. So did we just, like, we shoot his shoulder stuff off, and he's hurt, and he's like, oh, wow, that hurt me, whatever. And then you shoot his stomach, and then his head. But when you shoot his head and finish him, doesn't he die there? Or is the cutscene like her flying then into him, and then like we've opened him up, damaged him enough that she can get into the Dark Aether and like destroy him from that side? I'd have to watch it again, to be honest with you. I'm not entirely sure about that, so that's on me. Okay, let's keep going. Fire AC, I have a knife. I do not remember where it came from.
When I opened my eyes, there was blood on my hands. I stared at it, not knowing if it was mine. Then I saw the bodies. Omega soldiers. They looked like victims of a frenzied attack. An attack that continued even after they were dead. I have a knife. Do not remember where it came from. I just want to go home.
You can see what's the effect it's having on her in there. Mitchell, what's up, man? No, he starts making the world an outbreak zone. Yeah, but why does Sam need to go into the Dark Aether? Is what I'm saying. Like, did we not damage him enough? Did we not kill him? Like, does she have to get inside of him, literally, which is part of the Dark Aether, and destroy him from the inside? I don't know.
This is a dream. A bad dream. It has to be. That's what I tell myself. Even if it isn't true. What is happening? Why is it happening? I don't know. I don't know anything. I am lost. Please find me. Please.
Okay, and we're going to finish up with the Dark Aether stuff, and then we're going to be done for the night, and then we'll pick up with Season 2 tomorrow. So let's do these audio logs. Well, this is all Lost Soul stuff. These are all just people that, various people that went into the Dark Aether that left these transmissions. We're just getting an idea of what it's like in the Dark Aether.
They all saw. We thought this mission would be quick. The plan came straight from the top. How hopeful we were taking that first step. Victory was ours. But we spent our bullets long ago, and this place has changed us. I am not the man I was. I am not a man at all. I am just so very tired.
Just stuff we know about, like it's happening
Field
with the
report.
Dark Aether.
Lost contact with unit, but continue to gather samples until comrades are reacquired. Atmospheric readings match crystal radiation signature. So this stuff is everywhere. Personal contamination remains in safety range. 4 hostile contacts today. I killed 3 with small arms fire. The other I avoided. May attempt engaging after I find my squad. There is much to explore here. Stand by for additional reports.
Okay, Piotr.
Adrik Fedorov, the freighter, Omega Group. My squad just returned from the dark place. Well, what all of us did. They sent us to gather Ethereum crystals. It's like picking wildflowers in hell. And of course we say yes, because we are Spetsnaz. Refusal is not an option. Not if you want to maintain your career. But it's not gone well. I have lost more friends here than I did in Afghanistan. No career is worth that. If this is what it takes for me to make sergeant, I can only guess what the colonel has done to get where he is. I was a different man when I enlisted. I wanted to travel as far from home as possible. And I feared nothing. This mission has cured me of both.
Oh, boy.
Ivan Kozlov. Prisoner number 136778. I was transferred here from Perm 35 labor camp last month. Somehow, I have survived 5 trips into the darkness to get at the fucking crystals. 5. That bastard American doctor even called me Lucky Ivan. He forced us through his gateway at gunpoint. Shot the first man who dared to say "Niet." So in go 9 of us. Only Lucky Ivan comes back. And now, I'm in this hellish place on trip number 6, and I cannot find the exit. Did they close it? Did they get tired of waiting for me? These crystals are heavy. I do not know where I
gotta be honest with you. Mostly this is just making me want to watch Stranger Things again.
Something out there is watching me. Not so lucky, after all.
Tobias Hoffman, Sergeant. I was captured on a covert mission in the DDR. My superiors had to deny they ever heard of me. The Stasi interrogated me. I gave them nothing. So they threw me in a Dresden prison for 2 years. And now, a KGB unit I never heard of before has me hunting for damned monsters in this nightmare world they have discovered. They brought other prisoners, political dissidents and common criminals, to gather strange minerals from this place. But I have skills the others do not. So they make me hunt specimens for their American scientist. It makes sense. Why risk their own soldiers when they have someone as utterly expendable as me? So I kill their specimens and drag them back for study. The American is giddy with these new playthings. He promises to reward me, but I know his words are empty. Strange man. I swear he feels more kinship for these creatures than he does for other people. Truth be told, I do not hate this work. Dangerous, yes, but better than rotting in a jail cell.
Okay.
My name is Olga. It is Olga. Olga. Damn it, I cannot remember last name. I was pulled out of labor camp to mine crystals. I was healthy then. But I think crystals make me sick.
I think so too.
First came nightmares. I am chair. I am box. I am table. Maybe it does not seem scary, but it is. Then came fevers and pain. Now parts of skin look like wood, look like a brick. It is different every morning. Bones are crooked. They bend like rubber. And hair is sticking together like tails of rats. Am I falling apart? Or am I turning into something else?
Okay, so she's basically turning into a mimic. It's kind of crazy when you think about like all the stuff in the Dark Aether is actually what people, they were people, and now they've, you know, turned into the other like creatures that are in the Dark Aether. Kind of wild. Dude, there's no way. Do you really want me to read all this shit? Okay. Day 4100. This is the Zykov stuff. We didn't know it was Zykov at the time, but this is from Zykov. Found one of the big ones dead today. It had the impression they left each other alone, but it was clear from the wounds they fight among themselves. There's talk here of one of the overlords is hunting the rest. Sounded like crazy talk, especially because some now worship the giants, but I've seen enough to believe it. If one of the giants is imposing its will on the rest, I shudder to think what new order may emerge. Day 13,784. Very big development today. Passed through another weak spot and found a device set to frequency I use for broadcasts. The wording of this stuff seems very not good. Passed through another weak spot and found a device set to frequency I use for broadcasts. My previous transmissions were right there on screen. No longer feel like I'm talking to the void. When I got pulled back here, I set my transmitter to indicate if receiving device has been used. Waiting now for any sign that someone is on other end. Feels strange after all this time having something to look forward to. Hello? Hello? You are receiving my messages, yes? I lost hope anyone was out there. My friend, whoever you are, keep checking in. Must go now, but we'll contact you soon. Yeah, we actually start contacting Zykov. I guess it was around this point, but I don't remember. My friend, glad you're back, though surely you would rather be elsewhere. I know the feeling all too well. Trapped over here for so long, excuse me. I want to share more of my journal with you to help you understand what I have been through, to prepare you for what you now face. I will contact you soon with more. Day 291. Completed base operations. Took forever to gather tools and materials, but at last my little fort is secure. Stockpiled weapons, placed barricades, found components for traps in case creatures come too close. Electric spikes in doorway, gas pipes that shoot flames, and so on. Worried a human may wander into one of them, perhaps should make warning signs. First time since I arrived that I feel safe. At least I can sleep soundly. Day 3789. I remember being scared of the burning dogs. They're fast, hunt in packs, kill them, and they explode like fire bombs. Watched them over the years, learned patterns, behavior, understand them now. I even found an injured one and nursed him back to health. Now he answers my call, watches my back. I'm no longer alone. I call him Cinder. Not a good boy, but as close as it gets over here. Day 4010. Cinder sleeps in a corner I cleared out for him. My fort is always warm. He's my partner. Loyal, protective, if not very smart. Hard to remember life without him. We hunt together. I thought keeping him fed would be a challenge, but Cinder is happy devouring my kills. I'm a good provider. Wish I could pet him. Ironically, we could end up, well, the Plague Hounds. Not ever the Hellhounds, but the Plague Hounds we could pet in the game. Day 6157. Found red beverage machine a few days ago. Badly damaged, inner workings broken and exposed. Took it to my workshop, tried to fix. I think I understand the design, but some parts beyond repair. We'll have to scavenge from other such device. Would lift my spirits greatly to master this mechanism. Jug. Day 6289. Found another device today, a kind I have not seen before. Like my drink machine, this one is too damaged to function, and it's definitely not for drinks. Disassembling it in my workshop now. Best guess, it's something like a kiln or a crucible. Excited by the possibilities. Have applied everything learned from repairing drink machine, but still cannot fix. Considering looking for help. What is this thing? What is this from the game? Found another device today. It's more like a kiln or a crucible. It's not a drink machine. What kind of device did we go up to extract something? I don't remember. I don't know what that is. Day 2944. Made another brief visit back to the world today. Entire minute passed before I was pulled here again. This time I was in a city. New York, I think. Tall glass buildings, long cars with fins on tails, neon and chrome everywhere, people rushing through their lives. Still no one can see or hear me when I'm over there. Like a ghost, I pass unnoticed. The world goes on without me. Day 6412. Ever since my successes with the drink machine and crucible, I've collected more and more machinery and electronics. Now confident I can complete transmitter project. I've seen enough such devices on my brief excursions home, quote unquote, home. I know the components and how they should work together. Acquired some parts from another man stranded here. He gathers items for trade. Told him about machines I repaired and he asked to see them. Perhaps I found a kindred spirit. Day 6416. Disaster. The trader arrived and announced last night he brought friends. They attacked my fort, avoiding traps. I was a fool to put up warning signs. I fought back, but still they broke in. Cinder came to my aid, but they were ready. I almost burned alive when my only friend exploded. Now all my machines and components are stolen. Fort can be restored, but I am alone again. What will I do? Day 6418. Decided to visit Trader. Even after what he did, I had to try to make peace. He's still human after all. His friends were there. They laughed when I asked for truce. I only wanted to talk, but they weren't interested in words. I killed them all. Not proud. Life is rare and precious here. Mine most of all. I know there's still good in humanity, but the longer I'm here, the less I remember what it is. So how can Sam be only in there for a couple of weeks, like, and it's completely messing her up, and he's in there for years and he's still relatively okay? Like, he's got his mind intact at least. Okay.
It was supposed to be over quickly, in and out, but I was separated from the rest of my unit before our extraction. By the time I got to the exfil point, the equipment had been smashed to pieces. This radio is the only thing still functional. There may be no way back for me now, but I will do my duty till my last breath. Like most souls here, I have stayed away from others since I arrived. But over the last few months, I have seen ever larger groups congregating in the valleys. I hear their chants echo through the eternal night. I have not seen it, but I know it is there. I've seen the destruction left in its wake. Swaths of trees, snapped and broken as though they were twigs. It moves with purpose, but it is not a purpose I understand. I have not seen it. I hope I never do.
Assuming it's Orda he's talking about.
I met an old comrade this morning. His unit were among the first of our soldiers to pass through to this world. I fear he has lost his mind, as he mostly rambled incoherently, speaking words I could not understand. From the little I could make out, he claims to have been here for many months. This is not possible. He deployed only 1 week before I did.
Again, time passes differently. It's like basically 10-1 over there.
I have heard its guttural roar echo through the forest like a wounded animal screaming out in pain. I fear they are becoming an army. I do not know how long it has been. How long have I gone without orders? How long without purpose? I fear I am losing. Not just a war, but losing myself. There were soldiers, an army. One I recognized, but hoped I would never see again. I am afraid that wherever I go, I may not come back.
Okay, there's only one artifact of the Omega canister. Considering the radioactive nature of Ethereum and the undesirable effects on those exposed to it, Omega Group developed special canisters to ensure the crystals could be handled safely. That's from Firebase Z. It was one of the steps of the Easter egg. You guys know it, I'm sure, at this point. Okay, so that's season, the preseason and season 1. That's also 3.5 hours of this, and we're not going to come anywhere near making it through everything tonight, so we're going to stop here and we'll pick it up tomorrow. Obviously, it's not turning out to be a super exciting stream for most people, it seems like, but I do want to go back over all of this stuff anyway, leading up to Gulf War, and especially, I mean, honestly, it's just Modern Warfare Zombies. There's really not anything to do right now, you know. Like, I will be going back to that 1 or 2 streams per week, just whatever weekly challenges they have to kind of keep up with everything that's going on with the game and everything. But as far as, you know, even with season 3 coming out in a few days, there's nothing for our Zombies players, not until season 3 Reloaded. So that's a month away. So there's really nothing for us to do in that game anymore. So we were going to be going back to this over the weekend. We will get through this by Sunday night. Will be probably the end of, you know, these streams. We're just trying to get some ideas of what might be going on with Gulf War coming up. And for me, it's like, going back over this, it's reminding me a lot and kind of taking me back to what was happening at the time of playing through this. Also kind of like some theories that I had, that other people had at the time as well. What might be going on, what might be happening, where could it lead, which is what we're really trying to get to with, by the end of this stuff, with where we might be going with Gulf War. And again, I have told you guys already, but I will state it again when we get to the end of Season 6, what I think might happen at the beginning of Gulf War, like even a map and what we might be doing and who's going to be going there and whatnot. So I'll give you my ideas on that at the end of it. It's nothing new. If you guys have been here, you know, like, at all, like, you've heard me talk about this. Eric, I like this. I need to rewatch and pay closer attention. Oh, it's all good, man. I mean, it's, you know, for yourself, yeah. I mean, if you want to, you know, dig deeper into the story. And it's good for me as well, because as you can see, like, I forgot just how much, like, stuff there is. We've been going for almost 3.5 hours. And we did the preseason and season 1. We still have 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 to go. Like, that's a lot more hours to get through. So there's a ton of information, and we're not even stopping to really, like, have a dialogue too much back and forth. It's more of kind of like, this is what happened, this is what they're talking about, this is what they're referencing, let's keep moving on. So it's more of a refresher and whatever than we're having like a real kind of back and forth. We can certainly do that if you guys want. Feel free to jump in, ask questions, do whatever. But there's a lot of stuff to go over and to remember. And with Gulf War coming up, I just kind of want to end also with Modern Warfare 3 just being kind of lame as shit right now, for Zombies players at least. I just wanted to jump back into this stuff and go over it. So anyways, we'll be back tomorrow night, same time as usual, and hopefully I'll see you guys there. Eric, thank you again for the donut, man. You really didn't have to do that. If it's any consolation, it's the top of the 8th, and the Mariners are leading 1-0 right now over the Sox. So if the Sox lose, I will do 15 push-ups tomorrow. No bet. I'm just saying, if the Sox lose, I will be here tomorrow doing push-ups on stream. It's 15. So anyway, I appreciate you. Have a great night, everyone, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow, if those of you that tune in. Anyways, they're losing. Wait, they're losing? Well, I mean, they, meaning Boston? Yes. Meaning Seattle? No, unless these guys have it wrong. Oh, the turn. Not a very good idea of me to be streaming opposite of the tournament right now. Oh, Marquette lost. The 2 seed falls to the 11 seed. And Duke. Oh, Duke is winning. I hate Duke. Fuck Duke. Yeah, Seattle is winning. Top of the 8th. Ooh, the Sox have men on the corners with 2 outs. Trevor Story's up. Come on, buddy. Prepare yourself for 1-0. Yeah. I kind of want to like see what happens now with this at bat. Counts 0-1. All right, whatever. It's fine. We'll get to it tomorrow. If the Sox lose, I will do 15 push-ups on stream. No bet. Just that's nothing from your side that is required. I will just do the 15 if the Sox lose. Anyways, that's it, guys. I will catch you tomorrow. Have a great night.